right, good morning everyone. How are you all doing? Welcome to the stream. It's almost time. It looks like we're going to be getting started here in about 5 minutes. Hope you're all doing well from all over the world. Here in California, it's currently 6:55 in the morning. And I have to admit, not a morning person, but we're going to be going hard in the paint and having some fun today. So let's go ahead and take a look at the first matches and see what's going on. So today we do have two best of fives, followed up by, I believe, a best of seven grand final. So the first match of the day is going to be quite interesting. We saw two players with very dominant performances yesterday, the Viper and Recon. I believe both won their series 3-1 respectively. So that is going to be our first match. Taking a look here, you can see the Viper versus Recon is going to be our first semifinal. Then we have the Mista versus Vortex on the Vortex on the bottom side of the semifinals. And then, of course, we'll be getting to the grand finals a little bit later today. Probably going to be quite some distance. Obviously, these games can go pretty long, but what I've noticed is most games kind of go to Castle Age. We actually, I think out of how many games did we have yesterday? Maybe like 12 to 15, somewhere in that ballpark. I think two of them, or maybe three, went to Imperial Age. So it does happen, but it seems like most games, especially at the highest level of play, tend to really focus on Castle Age, which I suppose, you know, isn't really a bad sign for like the Holy Roman Empire, right? Who's incredibly powerful in Castle Age, but I'd be really curious to see those picks today. If we could see like an HRE pick or a Chinese pick or something like that, I'd be very, very hyped for that. Yes. Turin's voice with the steel chair to your ears all day, man. Got about 6 hours of sleep. I'm good to go. Yes. What countries are the players from? Well, we can actually check that if I'm not mistaken. So give me a quick second. Here are the results from yesterday. So if we take a look at the tournament, you can see these are the scores from the quarterfinals we had. These are the performances, and certainly had some really good matches. I mean, nobody got shut out, which is always really good. I mean, I've casted countless Total War tournaments, and I can tell you, even at the highest level, a lot of times players do just get shut out. But here, everyone was able to, you know, draw from their opponent at least one game or get one victory. So I thought that was pretty cool. Back-to-back endurance streams all day, man. All day. Yeah, the snake will rule. Will the coiled Viper strike his opponent? Drag him down. Oh yeah, I think it's a little bit too early in the morning for the Viper references. Yeah, for the Haggard Snake references, but we'll get there. Yeah, it's two best of fives and a best of seven, if I'm not mistaken. Although it could be three best of sevens. I'm pretty sure it's two best of fives, if memory serves. I checked last night, but my brain is just getting turned on. I woke up like 20 minutes ago, maybe 15 minutes. Had a little cereal, and we're good to party. So the tournament is being hosted, you can see in the top right, by the Elite Gaming channel, EGC. You can find them on Twitch. The main stream is over there if you want to watch there. It depends on who you're interested in watching, but they got some great commentators and have done a great job with this event. So now we're in the grand finals here. It is the Viper versus Recon and Mista versus Vortex. Yes, yes. We'll get this party started soon. So let me go ahead and pull this up. We are basically just waiting for the players to jump into the lobby. It looks like we're very close to getting started. We can see the Viper is online, as is Recon. And again, they will be playing here in a hot second. Yako says, thanks for the great content and all the explanations, making it like a tutorial for you. Hey, happy to hear it's helping, man. Dude, I have such an itch to play, man. After watching these tournaments especially, I've just been... Like, I finished casting yesterday, and the stream was 7 hours long. It was pretty deep, and I didn't even cast every single game. If I had done the first best of five, it would have been a 9-hour stream, which is pretty crazy. But, man, I was, like, sitting there after the stream just, like, super tired, and, like, I was just fiending to play games. Yeah, like, I'm really excited to get back tomorrow and actually do some games myself. You know, casting the games is fun and all, but when you got that itch, man, you want to get those games in. It's tough. It's the semifinals, yes, correct. It is the semifinals, and then the grand finals are going to be coming up after that. Yes, 100%. So what time is it where you guys live? Over in Europe, I would imagine it's the middle of the day. That's one of the things I've often talked to my wife. My wife is from Poland, and I've been like, you know, yeah, it'd be pretty cool to live in Poland, so then my streams could be like the middle of the day instead of like early in the morning. Yeah, that'd be pretty sweet. Because for the Total War community, and from what I've seen in Age of Empires, there's a massive European community, right? So most of the tournaments are, you know, European time zones. Pretty early here in the States, and, you know, middle of the day over in Europe. So it'd be pretty cool to be able to cast in the middle of the day instead of the mornings. Hey, Hayden, got you in Age of Empires. Welcome to the party. Yes. Ah, some delicious tea. Thomas, Sunday shift, helping you get through it all day, man. We're going to get through it together. The work will pass in due time. 1600, 4 p.m. Hey, 4 p.m. sounds pretty sweet. Yeah, that's like perfect. If I could just stream at like 4 or 5 p.m. every day, that'd be great. Yeah. In another life, perhaps, my friends. In another life. As a fellow Norwegian, I'll have to back the Viper all the way. Oh, okay, he's Norwegian. Didn't know that. Yeah, in Sweden. California, it's 7 a.m. So this event is now officially live, if I'm not mistaken. So the players are in the lobby. We're going to be getting into the first match between the dreaded Viper and Recon. In the meantime, let's take a look at Viper's profile, see what his win-to-loss ratio looks like. I'm quite curious. I would imagine it's pretty scary for sure. Yeah, that's pretty solid for sure. Yeah, 104 wins and yeah, it looks like 49 losses. That's a really, really solid win-to-loss ratio. And like a lot of people who are on the very high end of the ladder, they have like Smurf accounts. So they'll just play like 20 games and they'll have like a record of like 25 wins and like 2 losses or something. But if you consistently play on the same account, you're eventually going to be matched up against people with like similar MMRs, and you're going to obviously lose some games. But this is an incredible win-to-loss ratio. And it's pretty cool. In Age of Empires, if you guys obviously got some friends who are very into multiplayer, you can go to their match history and you can actually watch their replays. I believe it's the most recent 10 or something like that, but you can go and watch their replays and definitely learn a lot. I think it's one of the coolest features in the game, being able to go and check out replays of your pals. Thomas says, hey, Turin, I'm so sad. I downloaded AoE 4 and your computer couldn't handle it. Damn, man. What are you, on a laptop or something? Or yeah, pretty crazy. Hey, Apollo, thank you. Appreciate that. A lot of his losses were early on, too. Yeah, it makes sense. It was kind of the same thing with, I mean, obviously, I'm nowhere near his skill level, but I had the same thing happen to me as well. Because unfortunately, they carried over your win to losses from the beta test. And in the beta test, it was only like super high level players playing. It was like, yeah, I think I actually played against Hera on there and Kazva. I played Kazva a lot. I probably played at least 10 or 15 games against him. And yeah, so it carried over my record from that. And, you know, my record there was like 10 wins and like 25 losses. So I've had to climb back from the pits of hell to salvage my record there. Yeah, it was pretty fun. Grubby also lives in the Netherlands, but he streams mainly at night, or US. Yeah, but he comes from a Warcraft 3 background, and Twitch is also a little bit different. Yeah, I feel like Twitch does a better job at sending out notifications. Like, I feel like YouTube doesn't necessarily do that. Like, typically on Twitch, you see a bigger, you know, correlation between the amount of people that are, you know, subscribed to a channel there or are following a channel and like the amount of viewers they get. Whereas on YouTube, you'll see like these massive channels with like millions of subscribers, and they'll be like streaming and maybe getting, you know, a couple, maybe like 1,000 people or something, right? Whereas on Twitch, you'll see someone with like maybe like 50,000 followers, and they'll be getting a pretty solid number of views in terms of their streams. I think Twitch just does an overall better job at notifying people that like someone is streaming. Whereas YouTube, it's more focused on the videos. But again, it's improving. YouTube streaming has gotten quite a bit better. They added polls and a bunch of other features which we didn't have before. Kaiser, my money is on the Viper. After watching him almost toy with Lucifron yesterday, I almost died laughing with the horse running around the sacred site. Dude, that was some crazy shit. Yeah, I think that was the one game he actually lost too. I can't remember. Did he lose that game? I think he did. He lost to the Deli. The Deli came with the big swords and took out his Abbasids, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, his micro is just so good, man. So good. Where can we bet? Well, we can do a little bit of a poll before we get started. Players are now in the lobby. It is almost time for the Clash of Fates. Who shall win? The dreaded Recon. All right, there you go. Who's gonna win? We have the poll of polls. You guys can let me know. YouTube makes it hard to find streams for specific games. Yeah. YouTube works 90% of the time, 40% of the time, dude. Anchorman, yeah, the Panther. I love that. Anchorman is probably one of the most iconic movies of my generation. I think it was like a formative thing as it pertains to people's sense of humor, like at least for my high school. Like, yeah, I remember Anchorman references galore. Yeah, great movie. The sequels were kind of fun too, like really stupid. I remember when they had the Anchorman sequel with the news anchor fight and they have like the History Channel show up. That was my favorite part. They have like the ghost. They're like, oh no, it's the ghost of Stonewall Jackson. And then Liam Neeson's like, and the mighty Minotaur. It's just like the dumbest shit ever. Oh man, it's so funny. Hey Patrick, thank you, man. Appreciate that. Yeah, that was probably my favorite scene in the new Anchorman bits. Remember in the original Anchorman, like when he's talking to his dog Baxter and he's like, you don't speak Spanish, whenever the dog's like barking at him. And then at the end of the movie, it turns out the dog can actually like speak to like bears and like can communicate with other species. Yeah, it was just so dumb. Oh man. Yeah, the poll's getting there. Man, that is a pretty decisive poll. The dreaded Viper pulling in 85%. of the 268 votes. We'll let that run all the way through to the start of the battles here. But yeah, they're in the lobby right now, so I would imagine the main stream is just getting their business together before we start this. Hey, Slap-A-Lot, glad you're enjoying it. I'm going to be making a really conscious effort this week to try and soundproof my lair, because I know I've been listening back to the echo, and it haunts my soul. I know you guys don't mind it so much, but it's kind of common. If you actually look at a lot of esports events, they typically have a lot of echo, like the bigger ones that are like taking place at venues, because obviously the venues aren't always well soundproofed, right? But yeah, I gotta fix it. It's bothering me. Can I ask how old I am? I'm 33. 33 years old. Yes. Good. Hey, Fast Winston Doom. Fast Winston Doom. Have some money towards future tournaments, you magnificent mullet. Thank you so much, man. Yeah, I will. We have a tournament coming up on Wednesday. That's going to be our next one. And then on Saturday, we are doing a Total War Warhammer tournament. And then on Sunday, we're going to be going back and doing some sort of a fun Age of Empires tournament. Probably like a 2v2. Yeah, I think we're going to be doing like a 2v2 tournament. I haven't really thought of the rules or the format yet, but we'll figure something out. Hey, Brutalist Gaming, appreciate that. Dude, Brutalist is your name after the mighty Pit Lord from Warcraft 3? You have to let me know. Yeah, you have to let me know, my friend. All right, haven't started yet. We're going to keep an eye on the Viper here as he prepares to uncoil and strike at his foes. We will see what schemes he has. You guys want more echo? Oh, man, okay. It's pretty wild. Waiting for Chinese late game. I don't know if that's going to happen. I mean, I would be really interested to see a China pick. I feel like like I saw a video somebody posted about the Nest of Bees, and it seems like it's just bugged. Like it doesn't do as well as Mangonels even. And that's supposed to be like one of their big timing pieces, right? Which is a shame. If the Nest of Bees is just like inefficient, not working, what are you going to do, man? Like I feel like out of the clock tower, you should probably just build the spring alds, honestly. Like the Nest of Bees just seems like buggy, like it doesn't work, which really is a shame. Turin, to be fair, the poll with their Viper was one of those AoE 2 pros who just shows up to a tournament and everybody else knows they're playing for silver. Yeah, that makes sense. It's kind of like how Falcon used to be when he used to play a lot of Total War in the Total War community, obviously. What are your feelings about Warhammer 3? I'm very excited, yeah. I'm pretty hyped. I'm taking a bit of a break now because, obviously it's, in terms of multiplayer, the meta, hasn't really changed in a long time. Not really had too much new content. So just kind of waiting for some hands-on Warhammer 3 stuff before I really jump back into it. More echo means more Turin. Not quite. I mean, even if it didn't echo, I would still stream. If you just stack up some bedding or anything around the room, it will help a lot with the sound. Yeah, I'm going to work on it. I moved in a bunch of furniture, but it didn't do the trick, unfortunately. So we're going to need more. Heartsick Ruben, thank you. Greatly appreciate that. Yes, it's going to be good. Welcome. We got a new member here on the channel. Join the crew. Join the crew, brother. Yeah. So 84%. Recon rocking 16. Recon had a very good performance yesterday, too. He looked pretty solid. All right, ending the poll right now. 84% say the Viper is going to be claiming victory. We will see if the prophecy of chat comes true, if he will carry on his legacy of being the Age of Empires Terminator as we prepare for our first match. Marine Lord was eliminated yesterday. Yes, he was. Somebody in chat asking about that, but he was. So what are the odds that we are going to get a French mirror match here in the first game? I hope not. I hope somebody just makes a super alpha move and prepares a Chinese or an HRE pick. I think I'd be full mast if that happened. Yeah, we'll see. All right, pulling it up. Nope, looks like we can't quite load in yet. They are in the first loading screen. As soon as the loading screen finishes for them, typically we can load in. Come on, Recon, break the odds. Yeah, going for the underdog, fair play. What do you think about a fast TC versus early pressure or fast castle age? In my experience, I've kind of experimented with all the playstyles. I personally prefer a faster castle age. But I'm a Roost player, so I really like to get the warrior monks out and grab the relics quickly. I feel like if you can do that, it can kind of compensate for a lack of a second TC. And also the pressure you can put on with horsemen, like horse archers and things like that, I think is worth it. Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty hard to hold back castle age at feudal age. I mean, feudal age you get, spears and bows against like men-at-arms and artillery. So I don't know. I've been more of a fan of just going faster castle ages lately or doing very aggressive tier 2s on 1 TC. In my experience, it just feels very strong. Abhishek, thank you. I have a friend named Abhishek, IRL as well. Thank you so much for becoming a member. Greatly appreciate it. Is there some way to see the bracket/timetable for today? Yes, we can take a look at that before we jump into the match here. looks like players are still loading in. So there's obviously a substantial delay. So we have to wait for that. All right, so here's the bracket for the day. You can see the first match is going to be the Viper versus Recon in our semifinal rounds. And then it's going to be the Mista versus Vortex. And then the grand finals will be taking place a little bit later today. So I would imagine this will go from 7 a.m. to probably 9. This will go from like 9 to 11. And then after that, we'll probably, I think they're taking a break. I think there's like a break before the grand finals. But of course, I don't know. We'll maybe hang out. Maybe we could even play a game ourselves. That'd be kind of fun just to, take some time. Yeah, we'll see what happens. All right. Wonder victories. Now that would be some crazy stuff. If we got to see a wonder victory in here. Yeah, that would be pretty incredible. Yeah, second TC is, I don't know, I find that I'm more successful by rushing Castle Age. But again, it depends on your style. Like some people are really good at holding, like going second TC and holding all ins or catching up. But in my experience, I've kind of struggled with it. We've seen a fair amount of second TC though. I mean, I'm trying to think about yesterday. Did we see a lot of that? Did we see a lot of second TC? I suppose we did. Yeah, especially with the Abbasid. The Delhi Sultanate games, it seemed like most people stayed on one base for quite some time. But who knows? Who knows? Hopefully watching some of these pros play today will be indicative of some good strategies and help you newer players out, including myself. And we can learn. Mista defeated Marine Lord. He did. It was a really good series. Marine Lord looked really strong. In his first game, he played the English against the French and was like super, super tough. Mista takes the tourney, calling it. Well, we'll do a poll when we get to that side as well. So I'm not able to load into the game. Hopefully they did indeed have a spectator slot. Let's just go ahead and refresh this real quick. Are we going to have to go to the observe mode and find them? I hope not. Yeah, that would be pretty unfortunate. Okay, I don't know where he appeared. Yeah, Recon is here. Looking around. They might have actually had to reset. It looks like they loaded into the game, but now I don't even see him online right now. So hopefully, can somebody check the main stream over on Twitch and see if like they're actually in the game right now? I don't think they would be. Yeah, okay. They reset. I think they started without a spec slot, maybe? I'm not sure. Yeah, because right now I can't quite spectate the game. Worst case scenario though, we could just go to his match history after the game and just catch up that way. So we should be fine, like, yeah. Because we could just go and pretty much watch all of his games here. So we will see. Hey, Raptor Jesus, how you doing? This is the first stream I catch in at least a year. Great to be back. Hey, it's great to have you, man. It's great to have you. Yeah, they keep disappearing from online, which makes me think that they started without a spectator slot, and so they're probably going to be restarting right now. First game of the day, no problem. No problem. Yeah, Anthony, appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. Yeah, I don't think we're missing anything. I'm on my way to trying to unlock the Lanzknecht icon, the mastery for the HRE. It's so damn cool. Look at this absolute man right here with his glorious power beard. I actually think the Lanzknecht is cooler than Charles here. Charles is pretty cool, but I mean, this guy is just like, look at the floppy hat he's got. His absolute style. Yes. Yeah, Twitch is saying there were some online issues. No problem. You should invite the Mista to play some Total War Warhammer 3. That'd be really interesting. Yeah, to see the crossover. We've seen some Total War players. No, there haven't really been any super. I mean, there's been a couple high-level Total War players that have transitioned over to Age, but in my experience, they haven't transitioned as well as like StarCraft players. The StarCraft players seem to be pretty used to like the macro elements that you really see in this game, as well as like, the base building and all that sort of stuff. Total War is a very different beast. So the transition is definitely tough. Okay, yeah, they had to restart. Looks like there was some sort of an issue, and they're getting it going now. Thou shall not pass. It is bugged. Yeah, I think that's one of the coolest icons. I've heard the campaign is quite good in this game. Yeah, I've heard it. I've heard as well. I'm so obsessed with multiplayer, though, that I haven't even kind of dabbled in the single player yet, but I've heard good things. This is early, dude. Yeah, I'm not a morning person. Charles looks like the Giga Chad meme. I'm definitely going to try and do that for a thumbnail. Yeah, Charles is Giga Chad. Yeah, that'd be pretty funny. The Holy Roman Emperor. Can't wait to see well, we had a Dumbo victory yesterday, but there was no elephants used. It was like a Delhi Sultanate Men-at-Arms rush. So basically at the Delhi Sultanate House of Learning, which is their tier 3 landmark, they have an upgrade that makes their Men-at-Arms and Knights do bonus damage with their swords. And he got that upgrade and did like a big timing push and was able to actually heavily outtrade the Abbasid with his Men-at-Arms. It was a pretty goddamn awesome game. He also put in the scholars into his military production. He had 4 scholars in 4 military production buildings, which doubled the rate of production. It was crazy. So he was getting his Men-at-Arms in 8 seconds whereas his opponent was pumping them out at 16 seconds. So the rate at which the Delhi Sultanate was able to just like rapid fire like machine gun out units was just ludicrous. Hey, Hope Horizons, hope you're doing well. I see you on my friends list all the time. You have the cool HRE icon, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, you're down here, right? Yep, you have the same one I do. Very, very cool indeed. No. So the lady, we moved into a new house. That's why there's a little bit of echo, because the entire house is like hardwood floors and like big open rooms. I've been trying for the life of me to soundproof this room. I got like a huge rug and like put stuff up on the walls, but it's just so hard in this house. So that's why there's a little bit of echo, whereas my streams before I moved didn't have like any echo at all, but eventually we'll get there. I'll figure it out. Yeah, 2 Delhi ones yesterday. Delhi is like one of the factions, Delhi and Abbasid. Probably 2 lesser picked factions, but they still make appearances because of really powerful tactics. Obviously, the Abbasid with their siege engineering, like expert siege engineering, basically, they can make mangonels and springalds at Castle Age like instantly, which is really goddamn strong. And Delhi, you know, early sacred site pressure, like all kinds of cool stuff. Yeah, it's pretty neat, man. Hey, Turin, where are you from? I'm from California, man. Yeah, California. I grew up in a little mountain village called Ojai, so I didn't grow up in the big California cities. It was more, I mean, I think the population of my hometown growing up, it's much bigger now because a lot of people kind of flocked here, but when I was a kid, it was like 9,000 people. It was a pretty small town. But now I moved back to said town, and now there's, I think, like 30,000 people here. It definitely got quite a bit bigger. All right. So the Viper should be good. Here we are, loading into the first match of the day. There is going to be a delay, so we'll probably have to hang out for a couple more minutes. Hey, Mongols versus Rus. I feel like this is a really common matchup. Like, both sides are, you know, happy to get into this matchup. The match is on. All right. The countdown is on. Well, let's hang tight. I will do the big fancy announcement as soon as we get there. Hey, thank you for letting me know the match has started. Nonetheless, there's going to be a timer, so I know it started, but there's always a 5-minute delay, so even if I'm a couple minutes late, it doesn't really make too big of a deal. Biofoot. On a scale of 1 to 10, how haunted is the new place? It's actually not that haunted. Yeah, I think our old place was more haunted, if you could even go into that direction. But no, it's a great place. The wife and I are both very happy here. So yeah, how are your wrists doing? Pretty sore. Yeah, definitely have had some improvements. The nerve decompression surgeries were helpful, so I'm feeling better now. But they're not perfect yet. All in due time, my friends. All in due time. Conclusion, you don't need as much soundproof foam as you think. Yeah, I'm not going to be using foam. I'll probably just be mainly moving in furniture and things like that. A lot of those like soundproofing and acoustic foam boards, like they give off a really nasty smell because they have like, you know, weird chemicals in them. And I just don't like having those in the room. Yeah. You should check out a player called Matisse. Yeah, rank 34 in leader. Yeah, I've seen him. Matisse is he's played in my tournaments before. He's also playing, I have a Civilization War coming up at the end of the month probably. And he is representing the HRE in that tournament. So very excited to see him in action. Yeah. Yeah, I'm curious. I'm curious what he does. I wonder if he does like a lot of men-at-arms pushes at like tier 3 or like tier 2 all-ins with like battering rams, men-at-arms backing them up. That'd be pretty cool. Hey, Trent, appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. Appreciate that indeed. Hey, no, I'm here to help you guys get through your work and your studies, all that sort of good stuff. I did the same thing in college. I used to watch In Control. You guys remember In Control from StarCraft? I used to watch him. I used to watch like Idra, like all those, you know, early StarCraft streamers, Day 9. I watch quite a bit of Artosis nowadays. Yeah. So that's what I do to get through things. Do you do a vocal warm-up before streaming? No, I don't. I do some ranting, like I'll talk to myself and just kind of like very little, but for the most part, not too much. Yeah. Reduce echo by hanging bed sheets from the ceiling. That actually just sounds like a straight up good idea. Yeah, I could just like hang it like straight up on the ceiling, just like behind me, and that would probably massively reduce the echo. Like a big cotton sheet or something like that, or a big cotton like comforter. Yeah, it sounds good. What do you think about the Chinese going Song Dynasty versus second TC? I don't know. I feel like with China, going to rapid tier 3 and getting Palace Guard and artillery is like one of the strongest plays. And then you can comfortably expand behind that. I don't know. I always find that with China, if I take like an early expansion, that I'm just kind of getting pushed by like English or like battering ram all-ins. And I find that they don't hold it super well. I mean, they can get the faster production at the second age as well. Artosis Rage is my hobby. Dude, same here, man. Same here. I love watching his streams. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we have the Viper here on the Mongols, facing off against the Rus, who shall be helmed by Recon. Let's get this party started. Let's have some fun. Loading into the first match here of the semifinals of the big old thick Genesis tournament. Spawning on the northwest, we have our Mongol player, and down in the southeast, we have our Rus champion. Let us know your predictions in chat. How is this going to be going? Pretty standard Rus build order. Typically with the Rus, you just go with an early hunting cabin, and I actually learned something yesterday. So, hunting cabins will generate gold based on the number of trees nearby, and from what somebody in chat was telling me, apparently, and I main Rus, and I don't really pay attention to this, but they will generate that amount of gold for the rest of their existence, even if you do cut down the trees nearby, which seems really, really strong. But the thing about hunting cabins is you can max out at 250 gold. So you can't have like 100 of them on the map and be getting like infinite gold basically, but you could still have a handful of them and be getting 250 Gs, which is like the equivalent of having two relics, give or take. I mean, a little bit more than that, but you get the picture. Speedy Speed, thanks for becoming a new member and welcome. Yes, it is time. Turin don't need no co-pilot. I actually prefer to solo cast. Yeah, I don't know why. It depends. There's a couple. I really like casting with my friend Italian Spartacus. You know, I've known him since just the days of old. We go back to college back in 2005, 2006. We used to game together, and we've been friends for a long time. If I know somebody well, I like to do it. But yeah, it all depends, man. So obviously, the Viper going to be going for old sheep hunting here, and the Mongols relocate their TC here, and the Ovo has come up, which is very, very standard. I wonder what he's going to be going for here. Is he going to go for Dark Age Rush? I don't think so. It looks like Viper is going to be going for a relatively standard tier 2 push. He's getting a little bit of lumber, maybe just to get like a passive stables up. But the standard rush build that we've seen from Mongols, which we've seen pretty much nonstop from gentlemen like the Nyan Racing Cat and other Mongol mains, is that they go for the 5 workers on the trees here, and then they are able to get 150 lumber very quickly for the OVO. And they build a stable, and then they transition. But it looks like Viper here going for a more standard build. He's got 6 on food, he's got 3 on lumber. I don't think we're going to be seeing anything too crazy. And yeah, he just gets enough wood to go build his gear here, and it looks like he's going to be going tier 2. I'm really curious to see if Viper is going to be going for the trade routes as well. On this map, we obviously have access to trade routes, and looking at the vision, he has not found his trade route yet, but he has found this one. So obviously he could have a nice trade route that direction. And he's getting pretty good vision on the map. Now for old Recon, Recon has also had pretty similar vision. Just hunting down the Gaia, currently 160 bounty. So the Rus, most Rus players are able to comfortably get to the second tier at 250, you know, by hunting wolves and deer. It can be a little bit tricky to max it out if your opponent is denying you the wildlife on the map. But overall, I think it's very possible. And you can still get it. So let's say your opponent denies you all the wildlife. There's nothing left to get your bounty up. You can actually build the high trade house, which will constantly spawn deer, and then you can get your bounty from those deer. It's not the best though, because I think the other landmark, the Abbey of the Trinity, is quite a bit better than the high trade house. But overall, it is what it is. Yes, yes. So in my experience, I see somebody in chat, you say you like to wait till age 2, Pedro, to get the OVO up. In my experience, most really high level players I've seen get it up right away. Because the stone is a very valuable resource. It allows you to get just crazy good upgrades, allows you to do the upgraded siege engineering push at a very expedient pace, and double producing units and traders is just so valuable. So I would highly recommend getting it early. But again, if it's worked for you, man, hey, keep going, man. Innovate, you know? Come up with all the cool creative builds. So heading here, we have the Rus Scout heading down to the base to drop off a couple sheep. Rus going to be going for a Kremlin. Wow. This is interesting. So almost every Rus player, and of course their dog, likes to go for the Golden Gate because the Golden Gate is so goddamn effective at basically, you know, just getting you your goods in terms of, you know, a second TC or rapid teching. But this is a wild pick. I mean, a Kremlin. Now, against aggressive Mongol play, this is really good. Like, the Kremlin is going to be protecting the gold node here. It'll protect the berry bushes to an extent. Not from, like, Mangudai, who are, like, sitting right here, or some sort of ranged play. But for the most part, against any melee pressure, the Kremlin is going to be able to force those guys back. In the earlier days, when I first started playing in the beta, the Kremlin was the meta. Like, pretty much every Rus player was doing Kremlin every game and just, like, playing super defensively and playing more standard. But then the Golden Gate seemed to make more of a comeback, not even a comeback, but it arose from the shadows and became the more prevalent landmark for the Rus. But now, of course, we are seeing the Kremlin here back in the shadows, and we will see if it can stop the Mongol pressure. Very, very just, I guess, tame Mongol opening. Not in a bad way, but he's just going to be going, you know, fairly standard eco opening. Going to be a little bit behind the Rus in terms of landmarks. Rus did have 4 workers. The Mongols only had 3, and they also started their landmark a little bit later. Not going to be a huge deal. But he is going deer stones, so not going to be going for the big, scary Mongol trading economy. Rus can disrupt that for sure. they get the early knights, and the early knights can really put a lot of pressure on top of that. So the Kremlin has finished. It also serves as a wooden fortress, so it does give the augmented gathering to the old lumber camp here. So there's a little bit of a benefit to that, right? It looks like it is actually reaching this. Yeah, lumber camps and town centers within the influence of wooden fortress receive 20% more wood. Well, there you go. The Kremlin is positioned pretty far away. It still will protect the gold from melee units. But again, if there was a ranged force here, they would be able to pick on these gold workers, and the Kremlin would not be able to reach it. It has pretty far range. In terms of the tiles, it does have 8 tile range. Not as much as like a Springald, which is at 10, but I mean, it's pretty close to an artillery piece. The Kremlin is no joke. So the dreaded Khan is going to be hunting down Old Scout, and now he does 4 damage with his bow. Death by 1,000 spoon blows, and it looks like most of the deer on the map has been taken out. Pretty standard opening there. And the Mongol Scout going to be denying maybe a wolf back here. Doing the rapid fire scoot and shoot is the Viper. So he's probably going to be denying, what, 25 gold, a little bit of bounty. Now, what is the Roost bounty at? The Roosts are at 195. So not the best opening in terms of getting his bounty up. You know, some players at this point would be at 250. Now, it's not by any fault of recon. He's doing pretty much everything correctly, more or less. But the Viper was able to deny several of the camps. Hence, the Roost might actually be stuck at tier 1 for their bounty for quite some time. There are some boar on the map. There's a boar here. There is a second boar somewhere. Usually there's 2. Yeah, and there's another boar down here. So if he's able to get those, then he should be able to get his bounty going. So the early knight has popped out. Going to be taking some shots right in the face from the Khan. Khans are very annoying. Even if it's only 4 damage, I mean, Roost Knights cannot heal, right? So any damage that you do get on those bad boys is going to be pretty cost effective. But the first knight has come out. And what will the Roost be doing? Honestly, it looks like some tier 2 pressure. Looks like they're going to be getting archers and early knights and pressing in, which should be pretty interesting. Yeah, I would imagine archers will be getting pumped out right away. Like, you wouldn't build to that early unless you were maybe expecting a push from the Mongols. But yeah, the Mongols are not doing what most people would expect, right? Most people are like, you know, oh god, the Mongols are coming. They're knocking on the door, knocking on heaven's door. But here, the Mongols are just ecoing, man. They got a fair amount of gold, but they stopped getting gold right now. Looking at the current resources of the Viper, he's got 159 Gs. And let's see what upgrades he could get here. I'm trying to think what he's going to do with that. He's going second TC. Wow. Big eco-Mongol play. And will the Roost punish this? Will Recon push in? He doesn't have the Golden Gate, so he's not going to be able to tech up as quickly. Golden Gate is really good for like rapid castle age because you could trade in your wood and food and for like gold and just get there super fast. Like Roost players can actually go like 8-minute castle age if they do use the Golden Gate and use all the shenanigans that it brings to the table. Yeah. What's with the sound? I'm not sure, man. A little bit echoey or something? Or is the game sound a little bit low? I know I have some echo. Unfortunately, we just moved into a place and it's a little bit bigger, so there's a little bit of a sound problem, but we will get it figured out. Okay, so here the early knight's going to be ambushing the Khan in the forest. The Khan is going to be retreating, and I believe he's a little bit slower, actually, 1.62. There is an acceleration mechanic in this game, so when the knights like couch their lances and charge in and get a little bit more aggressive here, they do get a little bit of a speed boost here. Now, this is going to be pretty big for Recon. He must know now that his opponent is going with the second TC, and I think he needs to punish this. If he doesn't, the Mongols are just going to really have a lot of fun at his expense here. So he is going to be piling in the early knights with scouts as well. And I do like scouts being mixed into the main army. They still have 110 HP, right? So if you look at a spearman, they only have 70 HP. So in terms of like getting a cheaper meat shield, scouts do regenerate also. Ooh, the spearmen a little bit overextended. I don't know if the Roost can actually see them. Let's go ahead and look. No, he does not see them right now. Yeah, because he's in the stealth forest. Man, the spears are just standing right here. Oh my goodness. Yeah, needs to get on those. All right, will the archer discover the little spearman pocket? He does, but now the Mongols are getting an outpost up, and this archer is going to get prison shanked pretty bad. Yeah, he is taken out. There he goes. He scouted for his people, and he found the outpost, and he paid the ultimate price. He lived his life as as he wanted to. Yeah, the stealth force is quite fun. Now, what's really good about outposts is you can see here, if we look at the Viper's perspective, the outpost does give you vision into the stealth forest. So if you had built it like right here, for example, you would see the entire thing. So outpost and map control is really important. And this is another crazy thing about Mongols. They can get the arrow slits upgrade like super early on because they get stone, from their OVO. Whereas other civs have to actively mine it, which a lot of people don't do like early on unless they want second TC. So the Mongols can actually defend themselves with the arrow slits pretty darn well. It's really cool. No outpost up here, but it looks like there is going to be an outpost getting set up, as well as, what is that building? Oh, okay, it's the market. I saw it like packing up and moving, and the shape looked a little bit strange to me here, but here comes the outpost. Where will the Roost strike? It looks like they are opting to tech up? No. In terms of current resources, Recon is just bare bones, so it looks like he's just pumping out archers and knights. He is doing the Grand Theft Venison, so he's jacking all the deer from the map, which is going to be quite strong. The Mongols are in more of a defensive posture right now, so I definitely like this. And yeah, guys, look at this. A battering ram is being made in the shadows. The Rus have had enough of this eco-Mongol play, because obviously Viper's on his way to the Castle Age. He's banking food. His gold is going to start picking up pretty heavily. Here you can see he's got a nice little gold economy. And are we going to see any trade routes coming out from the market? Probably not. Probably just some standard trading. But, you know, a single battering ram will be able to take out this outpost and maybe even compromise this TC here. Backed up by knights and his own archers? I think so. Is he going to be waiting for a second ram? It does not look like it. So this ram is the one ram to rule them all. But the Viper is going to be spotting this very quickly. He can see it right now, so I would imagine there's going to be some sort of a panic response. Yeah, you can see archers are piling in. There's also going to be hardened spearmen getting ready. And now the battering ram is getting blasted pretty good, but the knights are coming out. Should be able to protect it. I mean, the spearmen backed up, the battering ram backed up by archers. Should be pretty good here. So the Rus knights do charge in and force the villagers back, and the ram is continuing to work here. But the Mongols have a pretty decent little defense force. They actually have a lot of archers themselves, so the archers might be able to kind of fend them off here. Although the Rus knights are just getting into those spearmen, man, and really doing a ton of work. But the Mongol archers backed up by the Khan's aura and the Yam network should be able to maneuver pretty effectively. So the outpost does go down. The spearmen inside should get taken apart. A couple of the Rus heavy knights are right on top of the Mongolian archers and are doing some good work for sure. And here the Mongolian spearmen that were garrisoned in the outpost are taken out, but now the villagers are being pulled. But the Rus heavy knights are forced back, and will this attack be thwarted? Maybe so. There's another outpost here. The TC is shooting. Battering ram looking to come in once again and kind of grab the aggro of the TC, but you got to be careful. The villagers of the Mongols are no joke here. Coming in with them torches. Yeah, going to be going after that bad boy. But honestly, it looks like the Viper is holding this very well, and I think he's going to be secure here. Will there be another battering ram being built? Looking at the perspective here, yes, there is going to be a second ram. The Rus are very, very all in. Looks like there's just going to be more infrastructure coming up, archery range, and probably more upgrades here. It looks like he does have the upgrades for the steel to arrow. No, he does not. So he has not gotten those upgrades quite yet. Quite yet indeed. Sipe, you guys saying something? Discord gives much better ones than the... Okay, yeah. Thank you so much. So this is a best of 5 series. Yes, this is best of 5. The all-in has been thwarted for now. But will there be a second wave? Because the Mongols are about to go to the next age, most likely. Is the Viper checking up? No. It looks like he kind of held his advancement now. In lieu of that, he built a second barracks, and it's just going to be rapid firing out units. Now, he put these next to the Ovo, so he's going to be using his stone most likely to double produce. And I really don't know if the Rus are going to be able to get through this. I feel like they're not. I feel like the Mongol economy is so much better at this point. Looking at the eco, I mean, the Viper is just balls deep with 53 workers. And Recon here is sitting at what? Yeah, 43, which isn't that far behind, but still... Like, the fact that the Mongols are, like, pushing out now and getting aggressive, even after they got pressed like that, is really not a good sign for the Rus. And, yeah, this Mongol force might be able to just straight up win. Like, I don't even know if the Rus can win that. Like, the Knights are probably going to get cut down by spears, and the critical mass of archers for the Viper probably will just straight up, you know, win this fight. So here come the Rus early Knights charging in. The Mongols once again meet them head on. A little bit of scooting and shooting as some of the Mongolian spearmen are picked off by the Rus archers. It is very much a game of cat and mouse here as the battering rams are forced back. You can't hide units in the battering rams, which is pretty funny. And now the spearmen are going to be moving in to torch the rams, and the Rus are forced back. Now, will Recon just kind of turtle up and try and tech at this point, or is he going to keep putting on the pressure and producing units? It looks like the latter. Yeah, he's got a bunch of archers and cavalry coming out, so he's going to keep pouring it on, which I think is smart. I think trying to catch up to the Mongols at this point, who've been on a second TC for so long, is going to be really tough. Looking at income per minute right now, Recon's doing okay. And the only reason why Viper's a little bit bad on food is because he just set up a bunch of pastures. But once the pastures do get saturated and start producing sheep, it's going to get pretty real, and the Mongolian economy should take off. But man, oh man, Viper's wood is crazy. He could even go triple TC if he wants to. But again, I don't know. There were people experimenting with the triple TC, but in my experience, I think just going with the, you know, like 2 TC is fine. Like most games I've seen, especially in this tournament, have been like 2 TC games. I don't know if I've seen a single triple TC game. It is good for replenishing workers after you take a big economic raid or hit, but overall I feel like double TC is just fine, yeah, in my experience. I don't know, maybe the meta will shift and evolve. People will go for the crazy triple TC builds, but all in due time. So the Rus do get a wooden fortress up here, which will be granting them pretty sweet vision. You can see they can see everything here, pretty much reveals the entire stealth forest, and once again, the Rus are going to be pushing in, sending in the battering rams first. And look at this! The Mongols packing up their pastures and just moving away from the pressure. I love it. And you know what the funniest thing is? If the Mongols really didn't like this position, they could just like pack up their TC and like move everything up here and just be like, ah, you know, we're good. you can have this little patch of ground. We're just going to go relocate elsewhere, which I think is such a cool mechanic. So battering rams moving in, actually taking a fair amount of damage from the archers. And look at this. The micro from Viper is so good with those archers, but a couple of them do get cut down on the charge there. And now we have Recon getting some nice pot shots into the spearmen. A very, very ferocious battle, to say the least. But it looks like the battering rams are potentially going to be taken out. Yes, the villagers have been pulled. They're going to be torching the rams. The Rus heavy cavalry have engaged, and they have cut through the Mongolian spearmen pretty effectively. One battering ram here, though, is going to be going down, and it looks like some of the Rus archers are going to get a lot of eco damage here. So this is the kind of stuff you need to be doing, right? Picking off the villagers there to make it worth it. Probably going to pull back and make 2 more battering rams. Yeah, it looks like one is being set up here in the forest. The TC is a little bit lower. What kind of eco damage did we see? So Recon is sitting at 52 eco, whereas the Viper's at 58. So it looks like he did kind of narrow the gap a little bit. Yeah, he narrowed the gap. The Rus early knights doing a little bit of scouting here, but obviously the Mongolian archers in droves can drop some serious firepower on him. It looks like there is a single ranged armor upgrade and a little bit of a miss micro here. The Viper is, he does not let anything go to waste here as he gets some of the scraps there of that particular engagement. And so here comes the battering ram push, round 2. Recon has not heard any bell. And now the battering ram's going to be moving in, going for the kill in the TC. Will the Viper hold? And will he go Castle Age, mind you? I don't think he has. I think he's just really staying heavy here on tier 2 and trying to hold this Rus push. The Rus, of course, have the armor advantage. The spearmen are pretty good against them, but yeah, with the archer support, the Rus knights might be able to just butter through these spearmen. And with the armor upgrade against the ranged attacks, they're quite durable against the archers. And now it looks like the TC is being repaired. This is a really, really good opportunity for Recon here to pick on these villagers. He can get so much damage in them, but the Viper with excellent archer micro against these Rus knights, just pulling back, using his outpost here, which does have the defensive arrows built in, and getting a lot of eco damage. There are a lot of villagers going down, and it looks like the second TC might fall, and that would be huge. That would definitely help Recon get back in the game, because man, oh man, you can see the score on the right side. Viper is pretty massively ahead. Good repairs, though. More and more panic repairs coming in. The Rus are forced back once again. Will the battering ram get the job done? I don't think so. Although the Mongols are out of wood right now. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think there's enough torches and DPS on this ram. Even if these archers do 1 damage apiece, there's like 100 of them. So they are going to be doing essentially 25 damage a volley because there are 25 right there. And the Rus are forced back into the woods. Man, oh man. In terms of eco, Viper at 56, able to come back pretty quick with the double producing workers. But you can see here, Recon has caught up in terms of his economy here. But now I think that Viper might even have a stronger military. The Rus have taken a lot of attrition moving in there, a lot of damage. The Wooden Fortress, though, will hold for a period of time. It does have 2,000 HP. When you compare that to a standard outpost, they have 1,000, so essentially twice as tough. 50 ranged armor on that, and there are 50 ranged armor on standard outposts as well. So the main thing that the Rus have is basically the double TC. That was really close, though. He almost got that bad boy down. That town center took a lot of damage. Now, what is the Rus counterplay going to be? It looks like Rus have switched into a bit of a farm economy, so the farms are coming out in droves. And a bunch of workers are migrating up to the northeast. Maybe going to be going for berries. Pretty good hunting cabin spot, too. Going to generate a little bit of gold from the trees. And I think Rus are just looking to go fisticuffs, man. Yeah, like he's just pedal to the metal. Expanding, getting more food economy, staying on the feudal ages. Doesn't look like either player really has the intent of banking resources. Let's see. Recon at 1,000 food, actually. Okay, I take that back. That would actually be a very strong way for Recon to get back in this game, because he is pretty well behind right now if he were able to get his paws on Ye Old Castle Age. But it looks like here the step readout's coming in, which is a really good Mongolian landmark. It actually gives you 50% more gold drop-off. Here in the back, a couple Rus Knights doing some harass. Very, very good harass here by Recon. Going to be able to delay the Castle Age tech. And now it looks like the Rus are going to be teching up as well. You can see that the Abbey of the Trinity is coming out. And it will probably be slightly ahead of the step readout. In terms of score, the Viper is really, really crushing it in terms of the economics of things. You can see the Viper's 1,800 food per minute. God damn, that is strong. 405 on lumber and 205 on gold. But the Mongols able to kind of force them back. The Rus really on the back foot, but they're a really strong defensive faction. So I think with some good defensive holds, like if the Rus can somehow win this fight, like they could probably be back in this game. This army is pretty ferocious though. I mean, there are, how many archers are we looking? 30 archers and 18 spearmen versus 24 archers and a couple heavy knights. That's going to be really tough. The Rus TC maybe going to get a couple picks here. I don't think so. Looks like one of the houses does go down. And Viper perhaps going to find some of these secret agent posts here. If you were able to find that hunting cabin, let's go ahead and take a look at his vision to see if he can find that. And he runs right past it and does not see it. That is very fortunate. That would have actually shut down quite a bit of the Rus food. Now back to the full map perspective here. You can see the step readout has been finished. Now the Mongols are basically going to be gathering in, they're going to be bathing themselves in gold. Yes, they're going to be. You guys remember that from Austin Powers? You know, the gold. Was that Austin Powers? Well, I mean, obviously James Bond is the Goldfinger, but nonetheless, a lot of spears, a lot of bows. They do have the ranged armor upgrade as well, and it looks like we're going to be getting a Royal Rumble. Scouts have been pulled. A single volley does quite a bit of damage to these knights, and oh, a little bit of a miss micro. Oh man, Viper's going to be losing a lot of archers there. So those archers do take some massive casualties, and you know what? I actually think this Mongol army is going to go down here probably. As long as the knights pull back, he needs to pull them back. Having them try and grind through these spears is pretty rough for sure. Although the spearmen are starting to go down, but the Mongols might still get this. They have a lot of archers, 20 archers against 21, okay? And now, just like that, the Viper loses his entire army here in the backfield. That is pretty rough. That's definitely letting Recon kind of get back in the game. I still think that the Viper's in good shape because he's had such a lead in terms of food for so long, and he's going to start producing some great quality units. But the Rus didn't really take heavy casualties here. They only lost 1 or 2 knights. I thought they would lose many more knights there, so my commentary was a little bit off as it pertains to the state of that battle, but we're all learning things. So, great play there. Suddenly, the Rus aren't that far behind. Recon at 3,100, the Viper at 37. Certainly underestimating that Rus army right there. We got veteran archers coming in, and I would imagine the Knights upgrades are being pumped out as well. Let's see which ones. We do not see, yes, we see the veteran knights. We have not seen the Boyar's Fortitude, nor have we seen the Knights Sabers. That was a very rough fight, and that, oh man, more casualties are going to be coming in. So the Rus Knights are actually going to perform pretty well against Man-at-Arms. Man-at-Arms don't do terribly well against big heavy cavalry, and it looks like they're going to be torching this outpost now, and there is going to be more of a Royal Rumble. So Viper looks like he's switching to the Man-at-Arms, and the reason why I think he's doing that is because he's going to be using the upgraded Mongol siege engineering, maybe to mass springalds and like mangoes. That would be pretty strong for sure. But nonetheless, the Men-at-Arms are in the trenches and are getting a decent little fight, but the heavy cavalry of the Rus are able to cut through them relatively effectively, and the last of those Men-at-Arms will be going down. And once again, the Rus have got the Mongols here on the back foot a little bit as they continue to push. Although, oh my god, is Viper going Imperial Age already? No, he's not, but man, he must have so much gold per minute. Yeah, he just took out that gold vein super, super quick. Now, Abbey of the Trinity was the landmark. Are we seeing any warrior monks coming out? Is the dreaded Ivan going to be making an appearance? Is he getting any relics? That is going to be super important to keep up the Mongols in terms of gold economy, is grabbing those relics on the map. And it looks like there are 4 on most of these micro-sized maps, if I'm not mistaken. So there's 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here. So the Rus are pushing in, putting some heavy pressure onto the Mongols. But the Mongols are going to switch to a crossbow men-at-arms army, which is very good, because the men-at-arms can tank the knights and also can tank the basic archers, and the crossbows will counter the heavy cavalry. This is a very, very common army composition that I think is very strong. Now, looking at the barracks up here, do we have upgraded siege engineering? Not yet. It is on the way. So the Mongols are going for improved siege engineering, I think? I'm not sure. Maybe just basic. We'll find out in a second, which will allow them to potentially build like springalds and all that sort of good stuff depending on these circumstances. So the Rus are pushing in, but you know what? I think they lose this fight. I think Viper had so much gold and so much food that he was able to produce a very strong Castle Age army. Whereas the Rus are still pushing in with like archers and a couple cavalry. They do have a warrior monk, but really wish they would be grabbing like sacred sites as well as relics on the map. I've noticed in this tournament, a lot of people don't grab the relics. They just are so gung-ho on finishing their opponent, which just makes sense, you know, go for the throat and just win, right? But yeah, Battering Ram thinking about pushing in, but if I were the Rus, I'd see this army and maybe think twice. Let's see what kind of vision Recon has right now. Can he see the goodies? Yeah, there's like heavy lancers in here, men-at-arms. The Rus army looks very bare bones. I think they're going to get smashed in this fight. They do have the Saint's Blessing, and it looks like they're going to be taking the fight. So the Legion of Rus archers is shooting, but they immediately realize they're a little bit outmatched here and are going to be doing some scooting and shooting. So just picking off the heavy knights, which is good. You know, they have the archer advantage at this point, so why not take advantage of the mobility and just pull back and shoot? The men-at-arms are grinding pretty effectively. The Rus knights are moving in, but taking casualties against the Mongolian spearmen, and the archers still getting some really good value though, man. Great control by Recon, despite, you know, having an inferior army. The crossbowmen have kind of been on the hunt the entire time. They're a little bit behind, haven't really been able to unleash their full DPS, and many of the Mongolian infantry units are being dragged down, but goddamn, look at the Viper's score, dude. What is he even doing? Oh man, another expansion here. Look how many pastures he has going. He's got the step readout just going crazy up here. He is just like, even if he's like losing these engagements, he is macroing so well on the map that it just like doesn't matter. He's like the Zerg, just throwing hordes and hordes of, I wouldn't even call these chaff units. These are men-at-arms. Throwing them at the Rus here. And the Rus food economy is, look, it's a third. It's a third of the Vipers. I mean, he's doing pretty well in lumber and gold. That is certain, for certain. But and the Viper's food economy is insane. That's going to allow him to just produce nonstop. Whereas the Rus might actually run into a wall here. You can see the Rus are banking like 100 food right now. If we look at the forces of Viper, Viper is just sitting happily on 700 food. and getting 2,000 per minute. So I think the food is going to be the big deciding factor. On top of that, the Mongols do have the siege engineering, not the upgraded one, but they can still build battering rams and should be able to do some work. Oh, the mango! Gonna get a nice shot here. It does hit all of those archers before they're able to spread out, but this mango is gonna get torched pretty well. Mangoes are much slower than Springald. Certainly can't run away very well. And the Kremlin is also gonna be pretty helpful for defending here, but it looks like the Viper has gotten the vice grip. He has constricted his opponent. The Venom seeps in, and will the Dread Viper end the game? Most likely so. I think he's going to be able to just keep producing, and the food really is the big deciding factor. He's got a crazy pasture economy. So each of these pastures, look at the legion of sheep that are just being formed here. Yeah, and just more pastures over here. His food economy is crazy good. And this is something I learned very early on in the beta games, is that Mongol's food economy can be pretty damn freaky with the amount of sheep that they can produce, and can really do some work. So Viper just swarming in. He's like moving into the enemy base, not caring about the casualties, because he knows he can out-attrition his opponent. He's crushed in terms of the food economy. And that's going to be GG, well played. That was a very good match. Had some nice back and forth. Viper, there were some moments where he was threatened, but for the most part, calm, collected. He held and played like an absolute champion of the people. So taking a look at the score, you could see it was pretty Viper dominant. After that tier 2 all-in from the Rus, that didn't really work out, although it was kind of like a semi all-in. Viper just took off because he got the second TC. He wasn't punished for it, and that was that. GG, well played. So we got a donation coming in from Calio. Thank you so much. Doing great work, man. Thanks for keeping us entertained. Well, thank you for the support. Really appreciate it. And yes, we're going hard, baby. We're going hard in the paint. Let's have some fun. The dreaded Mongols showing no mercy. Showing no mercy. This is the grand finals. The Viper does it once again. He does. The throat singing has intensified, and we will be preparing for the next match. So take a look at the statistics here. You can see the Viper pretty much ahead in every regard, man. Not a bad military score from Recon, nor was his economy, but man, Viper's was just insane. He was doing so much behind all of those pushes. Yes, I do see the donation. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. French Mirror for the next game? Maybe so. I want to see the Holy Roman Empire really badly, but alas, perhaps in another life we will see this, in this life or the next. The Great Viper Con. I know. Can I reduce the logo a little bit? I'm using it to block the timer because there's a timer up in the top right which kind of serves as a bit of a spoiler, but I can adjust it ever so slightly. Yeah, maybe that will be okay there. Yeah, we'll do it a little bit like so. Hopefully that'll still block the end timer. I'll check when I get into the game and try and make it a little bit more efficient. The AoE God is here. It would appear so. It would appear so. Yeah, Sen, am I reading YouTube? Always, man. I always read YouTube chat. Not as much during the games because I'm focused on the, the gameplay and all that. But yeah, in between games, I'm more than happy to answer your questions. If you tag me and put like @Turin, it like highlights it in orange and I can answer your questions a little bit better. Is there a better way to spend a weekend? I do not think so. Yes, we are going to be having probably a 5 or 6 hour stream today. I don't think this one's going to be quite as deep as yesterday because there's, less series. Yesterday we had 4 best of 5s. We only casted 3 of them. So yeah, and yesterday's stream was still super long. It depends. If there's like a sweep, like a quick 3-0 or something, then yeah, it could be faster. But overall, it's going to be quite long. Yeah, Holy Roman Empire is really fun. Yeah, I'm starting to feel like Mongols are a straight up counter to Rus. So I sort of am as well. I feel like the Rus kind of get shut down by them a little bit. And that's been my experience as well. It's funny because in the earlier stages of the game, when it first came out, I used to feel like Rus were very good against Mongols because their defensive infrastructure is really nice against pressure. But what happens is Mongols just eco and get trade routes, and then they can out-trade you. Their step readout gives them a gold advantage, and they just kind of own you. So it's a very tricky situation. Yeah. Yeah, these are live matches. Yeah, these are live. You guys are watching them. I mean, I think there's a slight delay because of the... Oh, wow. Are they back in the next game already? Oh, my God. That was fast. All right, let's check it out. Did you hear the Mista interview on the main stream yesterday? No, I didn't. What did I miss? Because obviously I wasn't watching the main stream because I was working here. But what did he say? Okay, is this the same game? No, wait. Vipers. They switched it. Hey, guys, we have the Viper on Rus now and Recon on the Mongols. Oh, that's pretty fun. So for those of you guys who want to see if it was a bad matchup for the Rus, or if it was just the fact that Viper is so goddamn good, now you're going to get to see this because we are going to see it from the other side, which I'm actually very interested to see this. I of course would like to see different civs, but this is cool. We're going to get to see a different perspective here. Will it be a return match for the Recon? We'll find out here on the next episode. Does streaming YouTube provide enough for your... Yes, it does, yeah. It didn't for a long time. Like the first couple of years I did YouTube, it was like, you're making pennies basically. But if you keep at it, eventually it can, essentially be a job. Yeah. This is going to be fun. Yeah, the Mongol second TC was a surprise because so many high-level Mongol players basically just go crazy using early stables and trying to harass with that and torching your stuff. But that was very strong. It was weird. There was no Mango Dai, there was no horsemen. It was just man-at-arms, spears, and archers. Very, very simplistic Mongol army. But again, it worked very well against the Rus. Yeah, he was able to hold. The Viper does need a nerf. Most people would have died to that Rus rush. Most people would have just struggled to micro against it and probably would have, lost the game. Yeah. It's not a French mirror. Yeah, absolutely. Can't complain. How do you get these banner symbols? You just need to play more games. There's ways to unlock the banner symbols and your icon and all sorts of cool stuff like that. Is it best of 5? Yes, these are best of 5, Speedy. Any tips for a newer player on how to get into multiplayer? Doing fine versus AI hardest, but I'm usually going late, always losing on rushes. Yeah, rushes are a weird thing. And unless you go through the trial by fire of getting owned by rushes quite a bit, it's really hard to figure out how to deal with them. I remember I used to lose to English longbow all-ins pretty much every single game, but then there came a point where I started to figure out how to deal with it. It's really just repetitions, but yeah, the harder AIs are actually not terrible. Playing against them is good. I would say another step for getting a little bit of find someone who's of a similar skill level to you and just get into a lobby, shoot the shit on Discord, have some fun, and just play some matches. Get some repetitions. Obviously, you can watch these very high-level games as well, and you can learn a lot of fundamentals from them, like building placement, timings, things like that. There's a lot of knowledge to be gained from watching these games. So that would be my 2 cents. Find someone who's on an equal skill level, a player. You need to find a player to practice with because the AI will be good for a time, but really finding a player to practice with is going to be quite big. No, I only stream on YouTube. Yeah, Yasin, only on YouTube, brother. What civs do you want for the next DLC? I would like to see a Scandinavian civilization. Japan would be really cool. Korea. I'd also be really excited to see an African civilization, the Byzantines. There's so many that I would like to see. How are the maps decided? I'm not sure. This is not my tournament. I'm just serving as a caster for this event. So I'm not behind the map picks and things like that. I could go look and ask, but I'm not 100% sure. Hey, Mike, I'm glad you enjoy the streams. Abhishek, hey, welcome, brother. Welcome. No, I'm happy to have you here, man. Give us a Danish Civ and Japan. Give it to us, precious. Has Rus won a single match? No, actually, I don't think they have. Although, you have the Viper on them, so, I mean, it's certainly very strong. Now, spawning on the northeast corner of the map, we have the Dreadlord himself, the Viper, going to be going for an early hunting cabin and early lumber mill. Going to be power building that hunting cabin. And Rus certainly like river maps because the Lodya fishing boats can teleport their fish back to a TC as well. So even if you lose the harbor, the Lodya fishing boats can be transitioned into attack ships, or they can just sit there and fish the river all day. So I would imagine we are going to be seeing a big river economy coming out here for the Viper. Spawning on the southwest, we have the Mongol player who's going to be Recon. So Recon just suffered the wrath of Viper's Mongols, but his build order is very different. When we saw the Viper opening, he went with food, very minor lumber, and honestly just went with a very standard opening here. But it looks like the Recon is going to be going for a very aggressive Dark Age. The fact that he's getting his stables out this quick probably is maybe a map-dependent build. I think he's doing it on this map probably because he wants to deny his opponent the docks, which makes sense. So if you go in an early stable here at your OVO, you're going to be able to get scouts, and then the scouts can basically just ride up and down the river. They can cackle and, have some nice sushi, and then essentially shut down the stable with torches, or excuse me, the dock. So we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. The HRE are the Byzantines. It wasn't a little bit different though. I don't know. You'd have to let me know. I actually don't know much about history. That's why I don't even go into it. I am getting more interested in history. All the civs that I've actually been playing in this game, I've been kind of I kind of want to order a book and read about the civilization. And there's a lot of interesting stuff. Yeah, so I don't know. I've been getting more into history. But again, I'm very much a peasant as it pertains to my knowledge of history. So are we going to see an early stables? Not yet. No, looks like it's going to be a dock from the Mongols. I wasn't sure which route it would go. Is it going to go for trying to shut down the enemy dock, or are you going to get your own dock and just go fisticuffs? Now, Mongols can certainly fight the river fight, and this is where all the fish are at. Up on the high river here, there's 3 fishing nodes right here, which are quite good. There's 3,000 food there, so that's really, really nice. And then from there, the Mongol fishing ships could go up the coast. And it looks like the Viper is not going to be going for an early dock. Let's look at the current resources. Okay, never mind. I mean, Viper's banking 157 wood, so it looks like this villager is going to be hustling over there. She's She's moving and grooving and looking to set up a dock, and it's going to be a nice surprise as the Mongol dock is set up, and yeah, they're going to have some fun battling over the fish. Battling over the fish. Yeah. HRE is later than Byzantines? All right, well, you guys got to give me some history lessons, man. There's a couple ways to counterplay this. You could obviously play your own dock, and I think this will go better for the Viper, and the reason why is because the dock can produce, like, you know, 3 or 4 fishing boats, and then as soon as the Rus hit the next age, they can turn all those fishing boats into attack boats, and then they can use the attack boats to kill the Mongol fishing fleet, and then they can switch back to fishing boats. That's one of the coolest things about the Rus, man. The fact that their ships are like interchangeable. They're like the Swiss Army knife. They can just go back and forth and really do their business here. So here it comes. The first Lodya fishing boat will be emerging from the dock, and they can fish anywhere on the river, so they could go downriver, but they're going to have to go pretty damn far. They'd have to go all the way down to these shoreline fish. But again, I think turning them into attack ships would be very, very strong for defeating the Mongols if you can get ahead of them in terms of tech. So back in the base here, just very, very standard. The bounty is being accrued. The Rus scouts are hunting down the deer camps. They haven't found the deer up here, nor have these deer been discovered. And it looks like these ones have been taken out here by Recon. So Recon did deny a little bit of the wildlife here. But river battle is underway, and they're going to be, these fishermen are going to be angrily staring at each other. Can they actually go from the same node? Oh my god, that's so funny. Look, sharing is caring. You know, why do these guys have to fight? They could be friends. They could just fish and enjoy each other's company, but alas, you know, history is history, and, you know, humans like to fight. So they are going to be going fisticuffs in the river soon enough. Up on the high ground, the Rus scout hunting down some of the doggos here. So the bitey infantry, if you guys haven't seen this tooltip, it's really funny. It actually says bitey infantry. But he's hunting that down, and should be able to get his goods going there. Now back at the base, ye old lumber camp, still going pretty ham. The hunting cabin here, generating 22 gold per minute. So even if you don't find enough bounty, the hunting cabins can usually get you where you want to go as it pertains to getting to the next age. So 2 Lodya fishing ships, and I like this play a lot from the Mongols. Setting up an outpost here is very strong. And I actually thought that the Rus would be doing this, but the outpost could actually push back the Lodya fishing boats and force them to run like either upriver or downriver. But they're just probably going to be switching into attack ships in time. So the outpost is making its jams here, and the Lodya fishing boats are heading upriver, or going after the fish over here. And look, the Mongols are setting up another outpost on the river. Oh my god, they're going so hard for this. So it looks like both players are starting to accrue enough resources to get to the next age. I believe Recon is already going. Is he? Wow, he's not. Okay, this is actually a little bit concerning. Like, I feel like Recon could just lose the river if he doesn't tech, because I would imagine here that the Viper is. Yeah, Viper is going crazy on the tech here. Getting the Golden Gate. So we saw last game, the Rus got the Kremlin to defend against Mongol harass, and then no harass came, right? But I think this game has a little bit of a slower pace due to the river economy, so I do like the choice of the Golden Gate here. I think that's going to be great. Taking his opponent to San Francisco. We'll see how it goes. So the Golden Gate, about halfway done. The Lodya fishing boats are going to be switching into attack ships, and the Mongols are just setting up an outpost all over the place. And look at this, we got some early spears from the Mongols as well. So it looks like he did double produce using his OVO here and was able to get a legion of spears. But the great thing about the Rus is they don't care. You don't need a dock because apparently the early Rus fishermen can teleport their fish with some sort of a dark ritual back to their original TC. Speaking of dark ritual, man, oh, it makes me think of Magic the Gathering. Yeah. Man, I haven't played Magic in a long time, but I do enjoy me some EDH, some Commander. Yeah, always a good time. So the fishing boats have come downriver, and honestly, the Rus don't really need much more than this. If they don't even want to contest the river against the Mongols, they can basically just have like 5 fishing boats, and that's going to be enough. There's not that many fish in this river, and they're only shoreline fish. So none of these fish actually respawn. There's no like deep sea action going on. The Golden Gate's going to be finished, and I wonder if Viper is going to go for a second TC with this. Typically what you see is people will trade the food in and get some stone, but yeah, we'll find out in a second what he's going to be doing with those supplies. Okay. I know what Viper's doing. I think I know. Yeah, one of the Lodya fishing boats actually goes down, and he is transitioning to an attack ship here, so it is going to, get some punch here and be able to do some work. The ones downriver, are they doing the same thing? No, those are still just fishing boats. It looks like they are all fishing boats here. But Viper is doing a very strong Rus build, which is a hard tier 3. So you use the Golden Gate to just rapid tech to the 3rd age. This is the build that I actually usually use, because again, like I was telling you earlier, I think the second TC is against Mongols. I don't know. I feel like they can really punish it. But if you can get to the 3rd age ahead of them by using the Golden Gate to just kind of get some very sneaky trade agreements, you can really get quite scary. Because Rus can then mass horse archers, which are very punishing against the feudal age Mongols. Feudal Age Mongols is spearmen and archers, right? So the Rus horse archers can really be incredibly disruptive. Attack ships, are they going upriver? Yeah, this is pretty big for the Mongols. I mean, they have secured the river. They have a light junk as well. What you going to do with all that junk in your river? Well, you are going to probably fend off the attack ships. 400 HP. And the boat here, I think, hits a little bit harder. It does 10 damage, and the Lodya fishing boats do 8. So they're a little bit weaker, which makes sense because of the utility you get from them. So you would expect a standard attack ship to be a little bit better. This light junk could probably fend these boats off, both of them. A little bit of an attack there, picking off some of the spearmen that were on the coast. But basically, he is going to be sitting back by his dock. He can also use his fishing ships to heal his light junk here. So overall, I think this is going to be a pretty advantageous fight here for the Mongols as it pertains to the river. But a fast third age is coming out. A little bit of a push coming in as a couple of the Mongolian spearmen do go in after some villagers. But this brave Rus archer, he will go down in the books of history for fighting off the Mongolian invasion here. And it looks like he is going to survive, maybe. He might even be able to get the Khan. That would be quite an epic achievement, wouldn't it? He's got 14 HP. The Khan getting a little bit of working, but that Khan is getting dangerously low, actually. Oh, the villagers with the prison shank! Oh, they got their daggers out, and the Khan goes down, and this brave Rus archer single-handedly repels the Mongol invasion. What a champion. What a champion. He's able to do it. So, the early night, moving about, going to be pressuring in now. Mongols got that nice river economy going, but honestly, Viper probably going to be going very rapid castle age here. He's probably just saving up gold right now, although it looks like he's spending the gold, so I guess he's going to be getting aggressive and turning the pressure on. Okay, so I was a little bit, off in terms of my prediction. I thought he was going to be going rapid castle age, but perhaps based on what his opponent's doing, he's going to be changing up his strategy a little bit. So the Lodya fishing boat will be going down here. The light junk does a little bit more damage and is able to trade slightly more effectively, which is fair, considering that the Lodya fishing boat can turn into any other type of ship. I think this is a reasonable trade here, as that Rus fishing boat will be paying the iron price. And there you go. So the junk sails down the river, victorious. It is on fire, I think. No, it looks like it's totally fine. And now the Mongols have secured river control. If they are able to set up a dock up here and go after these 4 fish, that's 4,000 food up there. That is going to be just bread city. But it looks like the Rus are planning some sort of a push. Got to be careful, though, because if the Mongols were to position their junks in the middle of the river, or the path in the river here, they can actually block this push pretty effectively. But it looks like it's going to be coming in regardless. Only one Rus knight here, as well as a couple basic archers. Currently, Recon is up pretty heavily in food, having a very healthy fishing economy in the river. Viper, of course, killing it in terms of lumber, which is very standard for Rus, and also doing quite well in terms of gold. I really would expect a Castle Age tech here. It looks like there's going to be a wooden fortress coming up to generate additional wood income. So wooden fortresses do increase the drop-off of wood by 20%, which is quite nice. And it looks like they have gotten a hunting cabin up here next to the forest. Very, very good positioning. Going to be generating 30 gold a minute. That's pretty high. I don't know what the max is per hunting cabin, but that's a very, very good one right there. Are the Rus going to be trying to shut down the river at all? It looks like they're not really building much military. Yeah, he kind of stopped building knights. I think it looks like he wanted to do some sort of a push. But now you got the junks in the river, and the junks are going to be able to drop some shots here, and they do quite a bit of damage with those little burst shots. The Rus Knight might get dragged through the mud here as the boat just drifts onto the shore there, but that Rus Knight gets away with 15 HP. So overall, pretty good control here. And now we have the deer stones being moved in. Oh my goodness, what's going on here? Where are those deer stones going? Is this a mistake? Is he just like sending these things up on their own? Is this like a distraction for the archers? No, he's setting it up here. What is he going to be doing? Are the Mongols going to be coming into some sort of pressure? They got spears moving in. They got double stables, barracks, and barracks. So they have 4 production buildings, and it looks like they're going to be putting the pressure on the Rus now. Yeah, the Mongols putting their junk in the river. I mean, it is true. It's what's happening. So a couple of Rus Heavy Knights looking for some freebies, looking to try and pick off some villagers. The blacksmith is coming in here for the Mongols. Very indicative that there could be some siege pressure coming in. The 2 Rus Heavy Cavalry able to defeat that Mongolian spearman. No surprises there. And the Rus did go for a second TC. So instead of going for a rapid tier 3, the Viper did indeed go for a second TC, which seems to be... he's done that in almost every game. Yeah, last game we saw him go second TC. I know some people yesterday were saying that the Viper is known for his very, very, heavy one-base play. Perhaps that is something from Age of Empires 2, but it looks like in both games today he has gone for the second TC. They're going to be getting a nice one right here. This is a great spot. You got the hunting cabin, getting the gold, you got the deers, you also have lumber. That's going to be a pretty sweet spot. And yeah, you might be able to out-eco the Mongols, but Mongols have reached the Castle Age, as have the Rus. So the Rus have the High Trade House. This is actually one of the first times that I have seen the High Trade House. It generates a ton of gold. I don't know if it goes towards the limit of hunting cabins. I don't think it does. So it'll be getting him 168 gold a minute. It will also be spawning deer, which will allow him to get his bounty. Granted, he has already maxed out his bounty. So currently, the Viper is reaping the full benefit of the bounty system. Getting a 5% villager food harvest rate, hunting cabins generating gold at their maximum rate. He's living his best life, that is for sure. So double TC. He's got his high trade house back here. Now the Rus are going to be switching in and getting a bunch of heavily armored infantry, so the men-at-arms are coming out in droves. So men-at-arms probably backed up by Springalds is going to be the army comp, which is pretty standard, pretty good against Mongols too. Springalds can deal with the heavy lancers, the spearmen will be countered by the men-at-arms, and that is going to be the whole situation here. But it looks like Recon wants to take an aggressive posture. He is ahead in terms of score, probably has a little bit of a better economy and just overall income situation compared to the Viper. We'll take a look, yep. Recon is doing better on gold and of course stone, but Viper is actually caught up a little bit on food. And I think the reason why is maybe the fish economy is drying out here a little bit in the river, but I don't know. He is pumping a lot of knights out. We got lancers and spearmen coming, and battering rams actually being made, so it looks like there is going to be some heavy aggression, although honestly, the battering rams will probably be stopped by the Springalds, and I think the Rus men-at-arms backed up by the TC support should be able to stop this. Should be able to stop it. We will see. So down here, there's one brave Lodya fishing boat. He is returning the fish to his people, single-handedly feeding his people. Kind of reminds me of, you guys remember in... It's funny, every time I talk about Game of Thrones now, like I get like this bad taste in my mouth because of how terribly the series ended. But, you know, Game of Thrones was an amazing book series and, you know, could potentially be finished eventually someday. I don't know, maybe when space exploration advances. But it reminds me of that story from when what is it called? Yeah, not Robert Baratheon's brother. God, not Renly. The other one, Stannis Baratheon, when like his island is under siege and the Onion Knight like smuggles in like, you know, that's why he gets the name, you know, the Onion Knight, because he smuggles in onions to kind of keep the people fed during the big siege of Stannis Baratheon and Dragonstone. I think I can't remember the name. It's been so long since I've read the books, but yeah, this like one Rus fishing boat here is like smuggling in the fish to his people. And it looked like the Mongols are kind of forced back by that Rus force. Yeah, and the Rus army isn't even that big. It's just like a couple of men-at-arms and spears, but double Springald as well. Oh, and he gets this around! Oh my god! Dude, look at this! He surrounds the deer stones! Yeah! Oh my god, look at it! You spin me right round, baby, right round, like a landmark, right. Yeah, that's pretty bad. So the deer stones are actually going to get torched there. The Mongols will have to repair them. So if you look at Recon's perspective, he would have to come over here to repair those. That's really rough, guys. Now, the Mongols do have the upgraded siege engineering. Oh my god, this is such a power spike. God damn. So he gets the Penta Springald. That is going to be a lot of stopping power. And looking here at the Viper, he only has 3 Springalds, but he is going after the junk in the river. Yeah, so he will get some work on those. You know, if the Viper were able to push up right now and like punish these Springalds that are being built, that would actually be very strong. I think the Mongols might have to rush up and intercept this if they do try and cross the old river here. But that's actually going to be 6 Springalds. But again, just because you have a Springald advantage doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win, but it will come down to micro and target priority and all that sort of good stuff. But man, that deer, losing the deer stone there sucks pretty bad. The Mongols losing their nice little outpost. Something that I would like to see here from Recon is a bunch of outposts being built. So like outpost to get like the speed aura, because currently he's not getting that. Yeah, I think he's actually getting it from this one now. Yeah, you can see this one is providing a little bit of a buff here. The Rus are sniping down the Mongolian fishing fleet, and yeah, nice start for Recon there. Able to pop one of those bad boys. The Mongols coming in with a bunch of horsemen and spearmen. Pretty formidable army for sure. And where are the Rus going to go? Are they garrisoning here in the TC? It looks like some of the workers have. Obviously, Recon wants to snipe the Springalds, because if you can get, you know, Springald supremacy and basically just take these guys out, that's going to be incredibly strong. But yeah, now the Mongols are in the base, and this is not good, because every building they torch, they're just getting food and gold. That could help them press to the Imperial Age very, very quickly. And now more Springalds are being built in the backfield, which is incredibly nasty. The Rus trying to get a bunch of Springalds up on the high ground of their own, but they only have 4. So it's really going to come down to, I think if Recon can effectively protect his Springalds and make sure not to take inefficient Springald trades, I think he could actually just straight up win this right now. We'll see though. So he gets a couple shots. So far, honestly, the Viper, though, doing pretty well in that regard. Some of the Mongol heavy lancers do move in there. He still does have 5 Springalds against the 2 of the Viper, and it's looking pretty damn good for the Mongols right now as they continue to punish this Rus army. The heavy lancers will trade very effectively against the Rus men-at-arms. They're not big, thick HRE men-at-arms here, but workers are being pulled from the base, which is good. Should be able to torch down a couple of the Springalds, but overall I think the Rus army is faltering in many regards, and they're taking some big, big damage. Right now, Recon's score not doubling, but he's up by almost 1,000 right here, and many of the villagers are going down, and 3 Springalds are still functional. The upgraded Mongol siege engineering proving to be a really, really valuable asset in this tournament. We've seen it in like almost every game they've been in. It's been more of the Mongol strategy. Like, I don't think we've seen like any Mangudai being like made this game like at all. So here, battering rams being made that could be game blouses. If the Viper is able to come back from this, I'm going to be just absurdly impressed, because that is going to be very tough. Horsemen are coming out, or Lancers. Yeah, it looks like Roost Knights are still being pumped out. I think some basic Horsemen might be very useful for torching these as well. But the TC getting some nice pot shots to keep being built in the base, which I certainly like. I don't see where the workers are coming from. Okay, workers building a nice keep here. Keeps are very good for stopping Springald pushes, because Springalds do almost nothing against keeps. So it definitely gives you a bastion with which to kind of hold. But the workers going to be scurrying to the TC here. More workers being pulled out. The Rus making their own Springalds, trying to pick where they can, but overall the Mongolian heavy lancers should be able to press in and do pretty good against these guys. Yeah, you can see one of the Springalds gets torched there. The villagers going after the battering rams, trying to stop it. And the score is getting a little bit more kind of nasty for the Mongols here. 3,700. The Rus do have good economies elsewhere, though. They got their gold veins here, a little bit of a lumber camp, and obviously have pretty good food infrastructure up on the high ground with some hunting cabins and deer camps. But overall, power building the castle while being just hacked to pieces by these Mongolian lancers is certainly not a recipe for success. And we can see here the Mongols most likely going to be claiming victory. I don't see how the Viper can come back from this. That is just some devastating eco damage he's taken. Although he's done a pretty good job neutralizing the Springalds. Yeah, he moves Knights in kind of non-stop and goes after them, but this guy's going to get Last Samurai pretty hard as he gets a giant Ballista Bolt right through the back. And the keep is going to not get set up. That is a pretty big resource investment as well. I would imagine he went to the Golden Gate and bought stone to try and get that. A couple more infantry units popping out, some veteran spearmen going after the battering ram, going to be turning onto the Mongolian lancers, and it looks like there is going to be another Rus Springald popping out, so we'll see if he can pop these guys down. In the meantime, more and more reinforcements coming in from Recon, still making more Springalds here in the backfield, and the keep is still being attacked, so some of these Mongolian heavy infantry are very focused on this keep here, which is maybe allowing the Viper to scrap back a little bit, but man, oh man, he is very, very far behind indeed. So the battering ram moving in after the keep. Should be able to get those big, thick pokes. And the Rus villagers going to be trying to torch down the battering ram, which will, again, will buy them more time. Up on the high ground, more spearmen popping out. The spearmen are slowly kind of grinding down these heavy cavalry. And is this keep going to get finished? I think it actually will. Oh my goodness. Dude, if Viper holds this and comes back, that is going to be just so crazy. I don't see that happening, though. If the Mongols just kind of consolidate their forces and do another push, and like, if the Mongols came over here and killed this TC and little farm setup, like, that would just be disastrous, right? Like, you don't have to go after this keep here. So the keep is probably going to effectively protect the main base, but, like, the Mongols should be able to punish the food economy here. Yeah, getting Lancers in here, this is, like, devastating, man. Because where is Viper getting his food from right now? He's got farm economy set up here. The high trade house is giving him quite a bit of food. So the high trade house is spawning deer, which he's farming. I think that's where it's coming from mostly. Also has a deer camp up in the top left or top right corner of the map. Yeah, hard to say. So the Mongolians still doing some nice harass. It looks like the Lancers going to be riding up and around looking to hunt in the hills, which they are going to be finding this deer camp back here, which will be pretty unfortunate. And now we got battering rams and Springalds being made. I feel like Recon's production isn't that... I feel like he's not producing that much. Like, I feel like he could have more military infrastructure here. Like, only a couple units are trickling in here and there, but it should still be enough to punish the Rus here. So the Rus do have a couple heavy cavalry up in the high grounds. The Mongolians have discovered, I think, the little deer camp. It looks like they have. And the Viper is sending some troops up there to deal with it. But I think he's going to have to sacrifice this situation. The Mongols going to take apart even more units here. And probably will torch all three of these buildings, giving them 150 gold and 150, food as well. Crazy, crazy strong. Got a little bit of a Royal Rumble on our hands. The Mongols sending in more Lancers. The Rus with a pretty good counter push here. And the main base, is there anything coming back? Yes, it looks like the food economy of the Viper is back in business. He is behind pretty massively in most regards, but just showing how truly tenacious of a player he is. The fact that he's like still in this game. I think like 99% of people would have just lost by now and been destroyed, but he is still scrapping hard here. But I think this is the beginning of the end, and I think he will realize it when he sees his opponent has like 5 Springalds. He might have like 1 coming out tops. And he is just losing so much. The TC is going to be going down. He'll be losing this big food economy. These villagers are going to have to run for the hills. And I don't know. They'll probably just go over for gold right now, honestly. And up in the high ground, yeah, the Mongols were able to torch that. I would probably leave a couple Lancers here just to torch these buildings. More Lancers getting into the backfield. There is not enough for Viper to kind of protect from all of this. Looks like the lumber workers have been kind of scurried into the TC here as well. And it's only a matter of time. At this point, I see no chance. It's got to be over. Very well played by Recon, man. And, you know, we kind of talked about this earlier. Perhaps the Mongols do have a really good matchup against Rus, because we've seen this matchup, I think, 5 or 6 times in this event. And I think we've seen the Rus lose every single time. Every single time. I don't think they've been able to defeat the Mongols, which was actually my experience as well, because I played in this Genesis tournament. I played in this event. And I actually lost to the Mongols with Rus. The exact same thing happened to me. The Mongols got tier 3, they got the upgraded siege engineering, and they pushed me down, and there's very little I could do against it. It was tough. Maybe, you know, Rus players need to kind of discover something a little bit different. Maybe they need to go for more of like a horseman-based army to torch these artillery pieces, more infantry-based perhaps, rather than getting Rus Royal Knights, or the Rus early Knights, I should say. I don't know. But at this point, I think Viper just doing a little bit of a formality, just fighting to the bitter end, but his buildings are getting torched, which is feeding the Mongols resources, more and more battering rams coming in, and the Springalds continue to just pop down these Rus infantry. But this looks like very similar to the game. I mean, obviously, I'm nowhere near their skill level, but it looks very similar to the game I lost in this tournament as well, where I was eliminated. So it is the business. I don't know why it says negative stone income when you take a look. Yeah, it's kind of strange. Like, this is the Viper in debt. Is he going to have to pay back some shady collector here, some shady loan shark for his stone? I don't know. Maybe it could be the case. Yeah, I mean, what? I'm surprised he's still in this game. Like, what does he think he can accomplish here? The Mongols are just torching everything. And over here, I mean, I guess he still has the gold economy. Maybe he thinks that's going to be able to keep him in. But look at the food income per minute right now for Viper. It's like 150 or something. Oof. And he's going to have to just do trades at the Golden Gate to just buy food, probably. That's going to be the only way he can produce any military. Making more and more spearmen, more and more Springalds coming out. Truly showing the heart of a champion. When Mongols arrived in Age of Empires 2, they dominated there as well. You know, in my... so I played in pretty much all the betas for this game, and the Mongols were super dominant in the betas. Like, they would just, like... so I played a lot of games with a couple of my friends who are very high-level RTS players, and... like, whoever was playing the Mongols was basically just winning. But again, in those particular beta tests, they didn't have all the civs. So I think Mongols, you know, might have some tougher matchups, like if they're facing off against like French or something like that. But I think Mongols are like honestly an S tier faction. I think in the hands, I had them at A tier in terms of like my tier list. But the more I watch them in this tournament, the more I'm like, yeah, I think they're kind of S tier. Like they can do what the Abbasids do with the upgraded siege engineering. They can do some really, really scary stuff. And obviously their trade mechanics, their food economy is really good with pastures. Their map control is freakishly strong with like the creep they can lay down, the YAM networks. It's so funny. You guys remember when that got surrounded? Still has not been rebuilt this entire time. Yeah, crazy stuff. I play Mangudai, they destroy. Yeah, Mangudai are quite good, but Mangudai get countered pretty badly by mass archers. When you come up against very, very strong players, and you spam Mangudai, what they do is they just spam like basic archers, and they usually just push your base and defeat you with like battering rams. That's the problem with going Mangudai like too heavily. But again, like I think early Mangudai harass is really good because it forces a response from your opponent. You can get some eco damage in, then you switch to something else. Like I think late game Mangudai, I don't know if that's like a really sustainable option compared to like basic archers. Yeah. I don't think Rus are S tier. I think Rus are like an A tier faction. Rus are really good. I think Rus are incredibly powerful. They have a lot of great utility, but perhaps against Mongols is just one of their harder matchups. Yeah. I actually saw a really interesting build from a Rus player in one of Italian Spartacus's tournaments, one of my good pals who was hosting a tournament. And basically what we saw is we saw that there was a lot of scouts being built. So the Rus were like spamming scouts and using them to torch artillery, which could actually be a really big meta-changing thing, right? Like scouts cost almost nothing. You could easily build like 20 or 30 scouts by the time these battles are taking place, and you could just like blitzkrieg them in and just siege and take down Springalds, right? I think that Rus players, that could be something that we see as a little bit of a tricksy trap here. So Viper's still trying to defend, but I mean the Mongols have just got a huge erect force. This is just a big, big, thick army, and those are some heavy metal lancers. And I don't care if you guys have spears. That many heavy lances, they're going to break your formation. Although a couple of these guys do get dragged down here, and the knights are just going to be circling about, turning around. And these guys are like, wait a second, why are we even running? And they do charge into the spears. The spears do not get the brace, and you can see they're going to be cut apart. And with that, the Viper drops a game to Recon. 1-1 in our series. GG, well played. Yes, if you want to see yesterday's games, you can. Yes, perfect. Good, Anakin, good. Yeah, that was a solid game. In accordance with the score as well, you can see it was pretty even, actually. As a matter of fact, the Viper was ahead for a split second there in the game, but then the Mongols just continued to go bananas. There's a lot of factors as to why it went like that. Like, I don't know if that's like the truest tell of that matchup, because the Mongols were able to get a river economy, whereas the Rus weren't. So that's like, I would like to see Viper plus versus Recon in that same matchup on like dry Arabia, like a map where there's no river economy, because the fact that the Mongols won the river kind of like really gives them a huge edge in terms of like food, because they're essentially getting double the eco without having to get a second TC. So I think that's like a big factor for sure. Yeah, GG, well played. GG, well played. Sleepy Line, yeah, Mangudais are currently best used with mixing other calves. Yeah, absolutely. It's 1-1. It is 1-1 in the series. Yes, that is indeed the score, my friend. Yeah, oh, that was total unit count? Okay, my bad, guys. Sorry. It's still early in the morning. I just woke up. Give me a break. But the score, I would imagine, was probably more Mongol favored, yeah. I thought you were saying the scoreboard at the top wasn't the score. You know, I'm not really sure what counters the Mongols. Yeah, that's the one civ that I'm like, lately I've been dreading playing them. I'm like, oh god, it's the Mongols again. Carrot Shell, good scrap indeed, man. Thank you so much for the tenor. Are Mongols undefeated in the top 8? I think they lost 1 game. No, actually, I don't know if they did. I don't know if the Mongols have even lost yet in this tournament. Yeah, it's weird because like in a couple of the events I hosted, I saw the Mongol like going for trade economies, right? But now it seems like Mongol players just like defend, go to tier 2, do a little bit of Dark Age harass maybe, but very little, and just go for the step readout and just get like a massive gold economy. Yeah. Hey, Wicked, man. Hope you're doing well, dude. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, man. Do you think River Eco should be nerfed somewhat to make it less punishing? I don't think River Eco is as bad. Like on maps like that, like I think players have a pretty fair chance to play at it, and it's not like it doesn't just end the game. Whereas like on a map like Boulder Bay or like the Warring Islands, I think like it's stupid. But if you're talking about like rivers with only there's only like 8 fishing nodes in total there, so it's not like game breaking. Yeah, we'll see. How's the thing on the top right of the screen a spoiler? So Con, there's a couple things. So the gentlemen who are hosting this event, the Elite Gaming Channel, they have a requirement that if you're streaming their event, you have to put their logo on your screen. And number 2, it shows the time of the end of the game. So you would have actually known that the game was going to end like 2 minutes ahead of time if I didn't block it. So it's essentially keeping you guys from knowing when the game's going to end. Because there is a delay, so the game is a little bit ahead of us. So, you know, we can pay the price there. Hey, Gannon, thank you. It's not my birthday, but thank you so much for the $5, dude. All right. Cool, man. Let's observe this match. It's not my birthday. Stop. Oh my god, you guys are so ridiculous. I love it. Hey, we got English versus French. We got Recon on French and Viper on the English. So, we got a couple minutes to catch up. It's not my birthday. God. Oh, God. We got 4 minutes to hang out. Man, time flies when you're having fun, huh? We're hanging out, shooting the shit. Yeah, man. It's great. What do you think about map gen and uneven seeds? Are you talking about, like, poor spawns? Yeah. I don't know. Like, most maps are good. There's a couple maps where players spawn a little bit too close together, but overall, it seems fine. Building 5 Spring Ult at the same time was game-changing. It's very strong. I mean, that's like the whole gimmick that the Abbasid dynasty has, right? And the fact that Mongols can do it too, in conjunction with their other mechanics, is very scary. Because Mongols are really annoying with artillery because they can get the YAM network set up, and their artillery moves 15% faster. So their spring ults are like moving at infantry speed. Like, it's really hard to deal with. Yeah. Eledron, thank you, man. Agincourt incoming? Perhaps so. I mean, you know, interestingly enough, I think most English games I've casted, like England versus France, have been English victories, believe it or not. But again, like the last time I had it on my channel, it was the Mista versus someone. So the Mista obviously is so good. He was playing England. And now we have the Viper on English. So if we do see a repeat, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. Happy 69th birthday every day, dude. When I turn 69, I'm just gonna like turn on my decrepit YouTube channel and be like, guys, I'm back. Let's go. Yeah, that's pretty fun, man. Well, you know, I appreciate the gesture of saying it's my birthday. I do. Jordan Ferguson, thank you for the $5, dude. Oh my god, you guys are such trolls, man. You're 1 in 5 online. I totally didn't deserve that win. Oh, who cares, man? Just have fun with it. Yeah, there's no shame. You know, everyone loses games, dude. You know, everyone loses games. You know, I feel like there should be a bonus for someone in this tournament. Like, if somebody wins with a wonder victory, I feel like they should get like a prize. If somebody can actually win a game. But again, I guess that wouldn't be that impressive because you would just cripple your opponent to the point where like they can't really fight back, and then you just build a wonder, right? Yeah. I don't know. You have to win with it though. If your opponent just like surrenders, then you don't get it. I don't know. It'd be fun. Did you like Dune? Geo, I really did. I love the Dune movie. It was really good. I love the aesthetic of it. Yeah. I love futurism, you know? I think it's really interesting to see that type of stuff. Like epic scale sci-fi, just full chub for me, man. Full chub. Robo Turin win. I don't know, man. I don't know. 69th birthday stream, we will call for aid. Man, it's crazy to think about that. Yeah. Like a UFC performance bonus. Yeah. That would actually be kind of a cool thing. You know, I think I might start doing that in my tournaments, is having a performance bonus. So essentially, after the stream is over, we can have a poll in the comment section where the community can vote on the best game, and both players in the game will get like an extra $50 or something like that. Or, you know, if it's a really big event, maybe they'll get more than that. I think that would be really fun. Like performance of the game or performance of the night bonus. Yeah, something like that. And you give it to both players, like the winner and the loser of the game. Yeah. UFC does that, and it certainly encourages some very fun fights. Yeah. When do you want to vacation in Indonesia? That sounds like it'd be fun, man. Yeah, I'd love to do some more traveling. Past couple years, we've really been quite locked down. Traveling's been tough. Hey, Dave. So Dave dropping a $50 donation. DB Dave, in my opinion, you're definitely one of the best AoE forecasters. I'm glad I found your channel. It's been really enjoyable to watch. Hey, man, that means a lot. Yeah, it means a lot. It's a whole new world. We're having a great time. Dave, man, thank you, man. Comments like that make my day. Appreciate that. That is a great idea. Yeah, performance of the night. The People's Champ Prize. Now, performance of the night more so, because People's Champ can just be like, hey, he picked the Holy Roman Empire in a tournament. Let's give him all the prizes. I'm talking about like a battle that was so good that like it deserves a bonus of its own. Like the players should be rewarded for a glorious fight. So here we are, spawning on the south side of the map. It's going to be our English champion, the Viper, looking to score some goals. Up on the north side of the map, it's going to be the French, led by Recon. Recon coming off a victory. He has tasted the blood of the Viper, but will he be able to repeat his success here with the French? Certainly going to have some good tools, obviously, with the French Royal Knights and all sorts of stuff like that. It could get quite scary. Could get quite scary indeed. Oh, thank you so much for that donation, Dave. Really appreciate that. Really appreciate that. So, looking around, French going to be going for a standard opening. Just going to be going for gold and food, which is pretty much what they all do. England going to be doing the exact same thing. Neither England nor French really have super dynamic openings. They're both very dependent on their feudal age landmarks. So, they basically just rush that. And like that's what's so good about England, too, is like you could just spam out longbowmen and spears, and like you have like one of the most formidable armies of the feudal ages. Like longbow spear is so hard to deal with. Like if somebody's just pumping out longbows, and that's very common, like English players will get enough gold to tech up. So you need 200 gold to tech, and then you need 75 gold to get the campfire upgrade. So a lot of English players will hit 275, then they pull from gold and just switch to lumber, and they can just like mass produce spears and archers all day. Although because England also, this is something else a lot of people don't know, is that England, it's not even in their tooltips, but England gets hardened spearmen for free. So when England hits the second age, they don't have to spend the 75 gold to upgrade their spearmen to the hardened spearmen. They just get that for free. It's a weird kind of thing. There's a couple like hidden little mechanics like that in the game. But yeah, they get that, and it's really good against French because, you know, when the French Knights arrive, you already have hardened spearmen. Yeah, which is really good. Red Spotted Drake, thank you for the $4.99. If you like Dune, check out Foundations on Apple TV. Will do, man. And Brendan, thank you for the fiber. Though it's not my birthday, I greatly appreciate the wishes. Baronizer says, I think you and Aussie Drongo's tournament commentators would be so good. Hey, appreciate that. I've seen his channel. Seems like a really nice guy. I don't know if I played with him yet. I don't know if I ran into him. When I was playing the beta, I played a lot of games in the beta, and I don't think I ran into him, even in the most recent one. Yeah. But yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'd be down. I usually like to do solo commentary because, you know, I tend to rant and just talk about nonsense. But yeah, someday I will, for sure. So, lumber camp coming up a little bit early for the English. Pretty normal. And going to be preparing the hardwood for the longbows. Probably just going to want to get enough wood for the barracks, I think is going to be the play. I feel like Viper is just going to go for the kill this game. Like, I feel like we're not going to be seeing too much late game action. This is an incredibly fast council hall, which is always indicative of early pressure. Yeah, like 2 minutes and like 28 seconds or something, I think is when he gave the build order. And the French have also gotten the School of Cavalry going. So 900 HP on that. The council hall a little bit behind. So the French actually got... Oh, and he loses his scout. Oh, man. So a lot of people forget that England gets the network of castles. And also their TC shoots like double the amount of arrows. So English TCs can just nuke your scouts if you're not paying attention. That's pretty unfortunate for sure. The scout gives you quite a bit of utility. So losing that scout early, I mean, that's going to limit the vision, the scouting capabilities of Recon. And now you can see what you see is what you got. He's going to have to build another scout or maybe send one of his Royal Knights around to go look. But losing a scout early like that is very, very painful. It means you're not going to be able to get sheep. I mean, there's still a ton of sheep on the map. We got 3 sheep here. I would imagine there's some more around the back of the base. It looks like there was a sheep here. No, it looks like 3. And I guess there's not too many sheep left on the map in general. There was a nice batch of 3, but even still, any sheep that are left, you know, the Viper is going to be cackling all the way to the bank and getting that business going. For the play-by-play, who should be his color commentator? Yeah, I don't even know. I know there's all these fancy esports terms about types of commentators. I don't really know what I would qualify as, but I don't know. Yeah, play-by-play, color commentary. Why not both? Why not both? We could have some fun. Yeah, I'll check out the Foundation. Thank you so much for the recommendation. But losing that scout, definitely quite painful. Council Hall is going to be coming out, and there will be a bunch of angry Englishmen coming out. Those longbows will be ready to go. And looking here, a massive lumber transition, going to be leaving a little bit on the gold, which is also a good idea because it allows you to passively get upgrades. So over time, you can get a blacksmith. And again, if you're spamming English longbows, getting the steeled arrow upgrade makes a huge difference against the French knights. Even though it's just 1 damage, it takes you from doing like 3 damage to them to 4, which is, again, when you have like 1,000,000 arrows firing, it's really, really valuable for sure. So we will see. We will see indeed. So the scout riding around looking for more goodies, more vulnerabilities. We are going to be getting, oh my God, are we going to be seeing a wall in this tournament? Oh, this is crazy stuff. Check this out. So he's building palisades, which is the only reason I'm acting so excited about this. And I am excited is because this whole tournament, I've been begging players to build walls. I'm just like, why are you not building any walls to defend your weak points? But it seems like really high level players are kind of like, well, if I'm building walls, I'm already losing, right? But in this case, against like the English longbows, this is good because it kind of funnels them into the front where, you know, the town center can somewhat defend. Unfortunately, the sheep were placed in front of the TC and not in the back. So the English longbows could potentially sit here and poke them off. Maybe we'll just see like a single outpost right here to defend the harass because I'm pretty sure Viper is going to be coming in for the push here. Well, the Viper is walling as well. Check this out. Yeah, he might actually wall off his trade post here, like build like a wall and go down this way. Very interesting. So this is one of the first games that we are seeing heavy walling going down. I like this, man. I like this quite a bit. Like both players are like afraid of each other. There's some solid mutual respect here in this game. So more and more longbows coming out. Is there going to be a constant stream of longbows? It looks like there's a little bit of a halt. Nope, he's constantly making them. No barracks though, so not going to be getting the spears right away. So maybe saving up a little bit of wood. It looks like right now the Viper does have enough wood to make a barracks, but he's not doing so. The French continuing to wall off, securing stone. Wow, we are actually going to be seeing an eco-French. Yeah, we're going to be seeing an eco-French here, so check this out. There's going to be a stone camp going on here, and it looks like the French are not going to be building too many knights. Looks like 2 knights are coming out maybe, and they are going to be going for a second TC. Wow, this is going to be a very interesting game. He needs to save up quite a bit more lumber, though. He's very, very low in lumber, so some of the workers are going to be switching here. We have an outpost set up already, and the French knight just sitting up here, you know, drinking some fine wine, and basically just going to be watching out for the English longwomen, who are still being built, I think. Okay, it looks like they've held off now. Are we going to be seeing a stone outcropping being taken by England? It does not look like that's the case. So England going to be staying on 1 base. I really still feel as if Viper is going to push eventually. I think he's just mitigating the early pressure from the French knights, making sure they have to go through the front of his base. And I wonder if he's going to wall this off as well. Yeah, maybe just like a big wall off here. So this is the dry Arabia map. It's fairly open. This is actually one of the most difficult maps to wall off in my experience. Absolutely. So we will see. So funny, no walls after yesterday. Yeah, I know. Yeah, they must have watched my commentary and been like, you know what? That player who's just like way worse than me, he knows what's up. Let's build some walls. Yeah, no, absolutely. That's the case. That's the case. Yeah, after watching this event in general, I'm super excited to get back and start hitting the ladder again. I mean, there's no official like ranked ladder, but even the quick battles kind of are what we have for a ladder right now. And honestly, they're somewhat functional. So England is still making longbows? Doesn't look like it. They're pushing out of the map, going to be hunting down the scout. Ooh, are they going to hunt down the scout? The wild hunt is on. This poor French scout. He heard about what happened to his friend, and oh, the wolf! The wolf. He was listening to some Foo Fighters. There goes my hero, riding out and saving the scout. The wolf's like, I got your back. And here you can see the French scout. Not going to even thank that wolf for his sacrifice. Just keeps riding on. Just cold shoulder. No burial for that creature. He is going to keep looking into the back of the base here. Now, we do have the wall off for the English, but no wall off on this side. Looks like there's a pretty big opening if the French wanted to harass a little bit. But overall, only 3 French Royal Knights. Is the second TC going to be coming out soon? It looks like Recon is sitting on 90 stone at the moment. And Berry Bush is being taken up on the north side of the map as well. So will the scout survive? It looks like he is going to be getting away. So the scout will escape the clutches of the English longbowmen. Not many folks can say that, but the longbowmen will not be able to catch him there. So, pretty big force though. In terms of the military, you can actually see the military supply of recon is only 6. And the military supply of the Viper is 16, which is pretty indicative of a push. And now it looks like he's had enough of these games, and he's going to be pumping out spearmen and longbows, and I would imagine there's going to be a blacksmith coming up, because you're going to need battering rams to get in here. There's like an outpost, and obviously the TC is pretty formidable, especially when defended by French knights. And the French look like they're maybe moving out with their knights. They could counterpush a little bit. England, of course, a little bit vulnerable here. I think a wall off right here and here would be nice to force the knights to have to run past the TC, but we'll see. Overall, I think that Viper is going to be going for an aggressive push. Looks like Recon going for a second TC. He has accrued 160 stone, and the fight is on, man. The fight is on. The scout sees no stone being mined. He does indeed, so he probably knows that there's some sort of an aggressive push coming. Granted, some players do go, some English players especially, considering that their age 3 landmark, their castle age landmark is a town center, sometimes they'll go 1 TC and hard tech to the 3rd age and basically get their 2nd TC through their landmark, which I think is very strong. Although English aggressive keeps, like using the White Tower, like as an aggressive piece is so good because English keeps can produce any unit in the roster. So you can set up a keep in front of your opponent's base and basically just then build artillery from it. You can build trebuchets, you can build all sorts of good stuff. So where is this English army going? I mean, they're mustering a pretty big force for sure. The French are just riding around with 3 knights. If like these 3 knights can keep the attention of this entire English army and keep the Viper from pushing, I mean, that is this huge, huge value city. Are we going to be seeing any haggard wall-offs here? It does not look like it. Looks like these spears are just kind of being placed, and he's continuing to try and hunt down this army. In terms of vision, he can kind of see where they're drifting about. A really, really good play here by Recon, just keeping these troops nearby and making sure to try and keep the dreaded Viper pinned in his base. But I feel like Viper is just going to keep going pedal to the metal, man. 2nd TC will be coming up soon. We're almost at 300 stone. Lumber is a little bit low, but there's a fair amount of lumber workers here for the French. And of course, the French get their upgrades cheaper and their buildings cheaper. So I don't know if that actually counts for TCs. I don't believe it does. Let's go ahead and double check here. So checking the TC. Nope, it doesn't. That would be really overpowered. If French could get earlier TCs, man, that would be some nasty, nasty stuff. So the English pushing up. Looks like the Knight's going to be moving in, and the longbows are going to get the scout again. So not a great game to be a French scout. That is for sure. The English going to be setting up an outpost here, and this is incredibly smart, because the outpost will be granting the network of castles buff, so nearby English units will be getting a 25% attack speed increase. So basically you can park your longbows here, shut down the golds, and now the outposts are coming up, so the Viper is going to be very aware of the situation. The outpost might be able to pick off one of the longbowmen. And where is the barracks, or the blacksmith? Okay, siege engineering is already done for England. I did not see that upgrade coming in, so they're just going to start building battering rams and cackling in the night here. So here it comes! Yeah, both players building walls. Look at the Great Wall of France here being built up here in the north. There's only one way into the French base, and it is through these outposts, which are researching the arrow slits. So, battering rams coming up, English outposts coming up as well. This is like a classic English push, and this is like, if you play ladder and run into players of mid or high level, this is probably the most common build that you see. The English push with an outpost backed up by spears, longbowmen, and battering rams. This is like England 101. But England can play the late game quite well also. They have some pretty solid landmarks and, of course, do get the farm enclosures. And now the push is on. So the battering ram's coming in. One spearman a little bit overextended here as the tower continues to do its work. Villagers picked off by the longbowmen, and that is a meaty army right there, man. Palings coming in. Spearmen will be protecting against cavalry, and the French knights are going to get picked off as well. They're going to charge in, but the spears are braced and ready for them, and immediately they're intercepted. Honestly, this game looking pretty good for Viper already. I know it might seem a little bit early to say that, but this like attack speed buff and the campfires going down. French knights are being dragged down. See a little bit of historical accuracy going down here as the longbowmen continue to tear through these royal knights, and now villagers are being pulled into open field against longbows. And this is a really, really hard push to stop. I've actually struggled to stop this with most civs. I find that the Holy Roman Empire can stop it pretty well because your men-at-arms can endure the longbowmen and also push back. But with French, I mean, yeah, the Royal Knights aren't going to be great against this. Like, spears will fend them off, while the longbows, even though they don't do a ton of damage against knights, if you have like 50 longbows like this, or 21, you're going to be causing problems. So the push continues to go on. The French are going to continue to get upgrades in the back. Now they're building their own archers, which I think is good. Even though they can't range the English longbowmen, what you do is you kill the English spears with your French archers, and then your knights can ride down the longbowmen. But I think it might be a little bit too late for that, as the Viper just pulls massively ahead here in the game. And that's going to be a very, very quick victory. GG, well played. GG, well played indeed. And that is a victory for England. Yes, for God and country, for the Queen, all that good stuff. There you have it. The Viper showing no mercy with the dreaded English as he pushes in against the French. And we've seen the English defeat the French pretty consistently here in this tournament. As we now update the score, the Vipers up 2-1. I believe this is best of 5. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it is. And I think the grand finals are best of 7. So we will carry on from there, looking at the score for the game. French were obviously doing quite well until the English started pushing, and then everything went downhill when the Fire Nation attacked. All right, GG, well played. Classic English push. There you have it. Somebody who's getting the long business. Oh, that's really good. Wicked, I like that. Oh, yeah, man. Very, very good stuff. GG. It's coming home. A very historical victory. Ah, there you go. Yeah, so longbowmen can heal themselves using the campfire upgrade. So in this tournament, players cannot repeat factions they've won with. So for example, we could be seeing the French be chosen again by Recon, but we can't see the English. There's no English for Viper, and he also, who did he win with earlier? Mongols, yeah. No English, no Mongols. So the French is still on the table for both players, actually. So we could see a French mirror match, actually, which would be a really, really funny match. We saw a French mirror match yesterday. Of course, the French won. No surprises there. Is it best? No, it's not best of 10. It's best of 7, I think, the grand finals. Best of 10 would be ridiculous. With only 8 civs, that would get like a little absurd, I think. Yeah, I mean, it could be. Yeah, Delhi could come in. Delhi was kind of one of the underdogs of the tournament that really made some solid performances. I think Delhi won 3 games in the tournament so far. I think Delhi is 3-1 in all the series, or 2-1, which is really good considering they're playing, you know, French and English and these different civs like that. Only Mongols can consistently stop English ram push. The buildings can just, yeah, they can just move away. Yeah. I have seen some pretty good holds against English longbows with the Rus, because the Rus have like the wooden fortresses and they can use the early knights backed up by mass archers. But I feel like the French needed to have like archer production. Like they should, like when they saw that many longbows, they should have started producing archers of their own, because then their archers pick off the English spearmen and then the French knights can destroy the longbowmen. That's the whole formula basically. And Rus do something similar. Obviously the French are a little bit better at it simply because they have better knights, but you know, it is what it is. Lord Bacon, thanks for the endless hours of entertainment. Turin also changed my name from Wesley to Lord Bacon Bane. I like it. Yeah, I remember you. I'm Wesley C. Lord Bacon Bane. Are you the Bane of Bacon, or? Yeah. Best of 10 would allow for a tie, yeah. Only way to see China is a best of 13, most likely so. Professor Pone, how you doing? I woke up at 6 a.m. today. Yeah, well, like 6:15, give or take. So 45 minutes before the start of the tournament. Dude, the action calls, man. The action calls. Yeah, I'm finally feeling better. Delhi is very good late game. Delhi gets really good in like Castle Age when they can start pumping out, putting their scholars into their military buildings and just pumping out mass men-at-arms. They can go bananas. Yeah, like because they're getting men-at-arms in 8 seconds, whereas your opponent's getting them in 16, and like you can just do such heavy pushes. Delhi also, like the sacred site pressure they put on in the early game is so good. It's so good. Looks like they're still in the lobby deciding on the picks and bans and all that sort of good stuff. We are at the semis. Yeah, let me show you guys right now. We'll take a look together. Let us go on this wonderful journey as a family. All right, so here you are. So right now we're casting the series between the Viper and Recon. Currently it is 2-1 for the Viper. And on the bottom side we have Mista versus Vortex, which is going to be our next series. So we'll see how that goes. The winner, of course, will be playing in the grand finals, which will be taking place a little bit later today. I believe the tournament hosts are doing a break at some point. So we're going to have to find some way to entertain ourselves for, for a short period of time. Your APM is over 9,000? No, it's not. It used to be. When I was like 19, 20, dude, I had crazy APM. My hands were flying around. But unfortunately, I developed wrist problems that were genetic. It actually wasn't even from the gaming. So I had my nerves in my right hand were pinched really badly for like 8 years. I had a doctor misdiagnose me, and yeah, and basically I developed like long-term problems because of that. And they kept telling me I had tendon problems, but in reality I had a compressed nerve in my elbow and hand, and they just were wrong. And I really liked the doctor, so I just believed them. But then I eventually went and saw a different doctor who was like, yeah, you have nerve compression, dude. So then I got the surgeries. In the most recent 2 years, I had 2 surgeries, and my hands have gotten a lot better, but I'll probably never get back what I had before, sadly. Because long-term nerve compression can be really, really devastating. Yeah. But yeah, no, I used to have really, really fast micro for sure. It's still pretty quick, but not what it used to be. Yeah. What's the highest level you can reach in AoE 4? I have no idea, to be honest. Puling, I guess we'll be talking about 80s and 90s movies for 30 minutes. We should just put one on and just watch it, yeah. Definitely play a game to... Yeah, we could play like a ladder game or something like that. Viper has wrist problems as well. I can relate to him, man. Yeah, it sucks. Turin is like, Uncle Rico, I love the reference. Oh, man, I love that. Dude, I joke with my friends about that. I'm like, yeah, back in high school, you know, I used to run a 10-8. As I just like walk around with my pot belly, just all out of shape. Yeah, dude, reliving the glory days. APM stands for actions per minute, yeah. All right, so, dude, I love that reference. I love it. What kind of wrist problems does the... Oh my god, look at this, guys. These guys are just switching matchups. What do they have, like some gentleman's agreement or something? It's going to be Recon on English facing off against Viper on French. So they've switched. Now let's see if the Viper can stop the English longbow push. I wonder if Recon's going to do the exact same thing. This is so funny because they had Mongols versus Rus and then Rus versus Mongols, and like both players won the same exact way, more or less. And now we have the coin being flipped here with English and French. Under Siege, starring Steven Seagal. Dude, if we could watch that together, that would be so fun. Is China's late game stronger than French's late game? Okay, so if China is able to fill up their pagodas and like get like the gunpowder upgrades, like yeah, maybe China might be able to like field a better army, yeah, than the French. Like, because they're just mass powder with like cannons and stuff is pretty scary for sure. I feel your pain. Also deal with long-term wrist problems. Have to use ergonomic keyboard. Yeah. I feel you, man. I feel ya. Well, it'll be interesting. It's still cool to see the coin flipped. Yeah, it's definitely fun. This is ridiculous. I know. What do they have some like agreement? I wonder if they like prearranged it. Like, hey, let's just like flip the matchups and see who the true champs are here. Currently, Viper's up 2-1 though. So if Viper's able to win this series and close it out with the French, I believe he will be advancing on. Yeah. Could somebody check and see if this is best of 5? I'm sure they're talking about it on the mainstream. Back in I could throw a big skin. You know, I did play football. I played football for 7 years, American football. I also played soccer, or football as it's called, for many years too. But I played running back. Yeah, I was pretty terrible at throwing the ball. I was never good at that. Yeah. Playing high school football, those were the best days of my life. Oh my god. The gentleman's agreement is a Viper trap. The next Bond villain. Is Viper going to be a Bond villain in the next like Skyfall movie or the next Daniel Craig Bond movie? I didn't see the most recent one. Spectre, I think is that what it was called? Yeah, I didn't see that. It's best of 5. Thank you so much. What's your favorite Civ to watch? I really like to watch Delhi Sultanate. I think that's probably my favorite to watch right now. Delhi Sultanate. I really like to watch China too. Like just because you never see them. If somebody picks China, they should get like a prize in this tournament. They should just get something for picking them. Like just take something out of that big $20,000 prize pool and just give them like $100 just for picking China. It's the best of 5. Thank you so much, Hope Horizon. Yeah. Yeah. Going pro until I blew out my knee. Yeah. I know. No, I can never go like high level football. I wasn't big enough because I was a fast runner, but I only weighed like 165 pounds, 170 pounds. So now I'm a bit of a chungus in my 30s, but my natural weight is like 170, so not big enough to play any serious college football. Yeah, I'm glad though. I'm glad because I had plenty of concussions playing running back. I took some big hits, and I remember vividly having concussions in high school. So I'm glad I didn't continue playing in college. I did track and field in college, but that was it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and now we are here. It is going to be the dreaded Viper on the French, facing off against Recon up in the northwest corner of the map. Recon, ooh, look at this. This is a map that I believe is, I can't remember this one. It's not Lipany, is it? No, I can't remember the name of this map. Altai, perhaps? I think it's Altai. But yes, yeah, it's Altai. So he's going for an early deer camp. That's pretty cool. That's going to give him a nice little food economy here in the beginning. Not going to have to be as dependent on sheep. What's cool about going for early deer is that you obviously use up the deer camp, and then you can save your sheep for later. So if your economy gets compromised and you're forced back into your base, you are going to be having the early sheep that you got early, obviously early sheep, waiting in your base for you. So we'll see how it goes. But yes, a little bit of a different economy. This is going to force the English to get wood to build the mining mill up here. mining camp, I should say. And French going for a very standard build, so obviously not going to be going for the early deer, even though he could. It's pretty close by. And this map is really good for choke points. You know, you got a couple little things you could wall off here and here, but for the most part, you can choke this map pretty well. For example, if you're playing like China on this map, I had a game against Hera on ladder where I was playing China against, and he was playing French at the time, I think. And the Barbican of the Sun was really, really good for like holding back pushes. We had it here, and it was able to hold for quite some time, which was quite good. What did I study in college? Just business, yeah. Honestly, I didn't end up really using the degree. I mean, I guess I kind of did with my first couple jobs. Yeah. Like the main job I had was athletic director, so like a sports manager basically, and you know, my business degree didn't really have much to do with that, but it is what it is. So in terms of resources being gathered, you can see there's going to be some early gold here for ye old French. And the English have just started getting going on their gold, but you don't really need to start it right away. You only need 200 gold to advance here, so you can basically just, you know, start it a little bit later, put like 3 workers on it, and you should be able to hit your timing pretty comfortably. Now, are we going to be seeing the longbow pressure? England quite happy with their mill situation here. This is also nice for later. You can set up a nice little farm economy around this mill, like right next to the TC as well. And England does have the mill influence, so farms near mills get increased harvest rate, 15, 20, 25, and actually 30% at the very end. So it's a pretty nice little spike that you get there. So we'll see what kind of a business they can do. So the School of Cavalry is coming. Is it going to be School of Cavalry? Yes, it is. And you almost never see the other French landmark. We did see it yesterday. We saw the Chamber of Commerce being built, which was pretty cool. But that was on like more or less an island water map. So the School of Cavalry wasn't as relevant. I believe the game was actually lost by the French there. I can't quite remember. Although, no, that was the French mirror match. So yeah, that pretty much explains, well, yeah, why. I guess it didn't work too well. So back in the English base, are they going to start heading to the second age? They are a little bit behind, and the French are going to be getting there fast. I wonder if we are going to be seeing any harass coming in. Will the French Knights pressure this time? Last game, we saw the French very, very passive. They were sitting back, trying to get a second TC, only built 3 knights, whereas most French players just produce knights nonstop. Just like, it's basically, I would imagine they just get like some sort of a weighted, you know, piece of metal and just put it on their button to produce French knights and just leave it there the entire game from the School of Cavalry. But the council is coming out. We got 4 workers on that bad boy. For the French, we got 3 on the School of Cavalry. Still should finish ahead of the English. But this will help them catch up. Getting 4 on there should do the trick. Now, in terms of income per minute, the food is pretty even. Recon has a slight edge. In terms of total workers on food, it looks like we got 4 here and 3 here. And the food for the French is only going to be 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, so he should catch up here. Looks like he did go for the early camp. Going to be getting the survival technique. So increases villagers' hunted meat carry capacity by 100. And hunted meat gathers 10% faster. So the thing about French is that they can get, what's it called? They can get the economic upgrades much more efficiently because they're just cheaper. So looking at French, their wheelbarrow only costs 105 gold, whereas the wheelbarrow for the French costs 150. So man, oh man, that is a pretty substantial difference. So not only do the French have really scary early military with their knights, but their eco is better. And their economic buildings they build, so like lumber camps, they're cheaper. Let me go ahead and show you. So the lumber camp for the French only costs 25 wood, whereas the lumber camp for the English is going to be costing 50. So just, it's so crazy the amount of economic and just military benefits they really have over other civilizations. Like little things like that make a huge difference, right? Like the English probably can't really afford to go professional or like get these upgrades as quickly. It looks like he does get it now. So here we are going to be seeing Recon get that, but he should be a little bit behind in that regard. Let me go ahead and double check. Yeah, he is getting the survival techniques, which is interesting. It's an upgrade I always overlook, but perhaps there's a little bit more to it. I think due to the fact that he's got like 2 deer camps, both within pretty close proximity to his base on this particular map, does justify the usage of that. And I think it's only hunted animals. Yeah, hunted meat. So it's not going to be affecting the sheep, I don't think, although maybe it does. Something to consider. Does Turin understand how farming works in AoE 4? Absolutely, yeah, no, of course. Yeah, farming is pretty basic here, you know, pretty basic stuff. So back in the French base, we got some more knights coming out. It looks like the first knight will be riding across the map. Will the English have longbows to meet them? Looks like we do have our first longbowman going over here. The English with a big wall up too. Yeah, which makes sense. They want to secure this food. And having this little, you know, gateway here will force the French to move through this opening, which the English could maybe defend yeah, pretty effectively, I would imagine. They could even just wall this off and then like force them to come in. Yeah, he's walling off on every side, man. Very different experience than yesterday. Like almost nobody walled off. And it looks like the French knight going to be going after the longbowman. He should be able to get to the TC. The knight does take quite a bit of damage. And will the English get him? I don't think so. So he does have 3 ranged armor. So if you look at the longbow's damage, they do 6 armor. 6 damage against anything that isn't a light melee infantry. So against these French knights, they're actually only doing 3 damage there. So we will see how this goes. Is this going to be game 5? Well, this is game 4 right now. If Recon is able to win, he did drop the last game to the English, then he will be going to the rubber match. But if the Viper wins, he'll be advancing on to the grand finals of this tournament, which would be pretty wild for sure. So last game, we saw the English defeat the French with a timing push. Basically, a double barracks with longbow spam, one base, and they just pushed in and just got battering rams and basically ran down the French there. But I don't know if we're going to see the same thing. It looks like an early blacksmith coming out, and the archery range as well. So Viper is not going for like a very greedy French build. We saw that last game where the French went for like a double TC and they got punished super bad for it. But instead, he builds an archery range knowing that archer and French knight is probably going to be a reasonable counter against the English force with good control and good micro. So, yeah. So, pulling in, the knights moving back across, and the longwomen able to fend them off. So, there go the Royal Knights. They'll be fleeing for the hills. Looks like pretty good vision, though. Looking at the vision here of Viper, looking at that, he's got eyes on things. He has a scout up here. He's got his French knights kind of patrolling in front of the base. So if England were to move out, he probably would have a little bit of time to prepare for this. Is he building archers? He actually is. And is he getting the ranged armor upgrade? Not quite yet. French also get the melee attack upgrades for free. So all of their knights basically just are a little bit stronger in the beginning. And even in Age 3, your men-at-arms are going to be coming in with 2 attack upgrades, which is awesome. Because all of your French attack upgrades, just as soon as you unlock that upgrade, you basically just get it for free, which is really, really crazy. Which is wild indeed. So the English longwomen forming up a little bit of a defense here. And the walls are being built. So this will be nice. It forces the French to push into a choke. It'd be really crazy to see Recon just like mind game this super hard and basically just not go for a push. Just go like super eco farm England and just try and get the farm enclosures. So this is the upgrade I'm talking about. Each farm enclosure, so each farm being worked by a villager, generates 1 gold every 3.5 seconds. So in the late game, you know, England even mining no gold can easily have like 1,000 gold per minute just from their farms, which is really nice. So like in these very attrition heavy maps, let's say you're the English player, you manage to grab like half the relics, plus you got your farm enclosures, and the French aren't going to be able to generate gold as effectively in the late game unless they have really good trade routes going, which this map is actually one of the best for trade routes because you set up basically a market down here and you just have them do like a big marathon across the map. You set up stone walls here, set up stone walls here, and then you're going to have a very, very safe trade route. So, you know, players or civs that love this map are the Mongols. Mongols love this map because they can basically just get crazy, crazy trade routes going. So the Royal Knights getting poked a little bit, English longwomen forcing them back, and it looks like, are we getting a barracks? No, a blacksmith actually. So probably going to be getting the steeled arrows. We have not seen a blacksmith or a barracks coming out, so there's no spear support. Like the longwomen do not want to go out and fight the French Knights in open field. I mean, with the palings, they could force them back for a period of time, but it's not really a safe push. Longwomen are quite slow. They only have 1.12 tiles, so they can still scoot and shoot pretty effectively, but overall, that is a very, very risky push to be pushing out. So the hunted meat continue to be gathered. Let's look at the income per minute. Currently, Recon is up a little bit, but it's pretty damn even. Viper like jumping past him for a second. And the resources are pretty much negligible. Both players are doing very, very well for themselves. And it looks like a mill is being set up here. And he is going to be going after the huntable deer. And here comes the French with a little bit of a push, I think. Do they have any archers coming out? Nope. Looks like the French are leaving their archers at home. So Viper just kind of paying his respects to his opponent by building the archers. But, you know, having them there is it's better to, you know, invest a little bit there and just not straight up lose the game to an English push than to not build them, I think. So England going for a barracks in the back. So could this be the time that the timing is upon us? I think the number of longbows is indicative that he probably is going to be pushing out and looking for blood here as that scout does get poked a little bit. And the longbows, light melee infantry. So yeah, archers don't get a bonus for his other archers, if I'm not mistaken. So, because they're not melee infantry. Pretty good wood economy. Gold economy is very bare bones here for England, which is pretty normal. You can see Viper's gold economy is much better because, again, he's probably looking to go Castle Age. Whereas the English, I think, have kind of dedicated to a very aggressive push here. So now we're going to be getting spearmen pumped out in droves, backed up by longbows. And do we see siege engineering? Yes, we do. Okay. So the gambit is here. It is time. The siege engineering is coming, and that means England is going to be all-inning on tier 2, which is very standard against French. That's been kind of the meta against them. It's just spears, longbows, push, and, you know, live your best life. But I would say that Viper is more well-prepared for it this game than Recon was prepared for it last game. Although Castle Age might be coming here for the French. Okay, this is going to be a very scary timing, and look at this. Holy shit. He is power building this guild hall, and my concern for the English is by the time they get there and a battering ram set up, the French are going to be making men-at-arms with 2 attack upgrades. And that English army is going to get its bread buttered so goddamn bad. Yeah, man, what a great timing here by the Viper. Like, he executed this build so well last game against his opponent, and now he knows how to deal with it, right? Because he clearly does it to people. So he's going to be getting the guild hall here. It'll be done in a couple seconds. Now you're just going to see droves and droves of men-at-arms coming out with the free attack upgrades, probably with the ranged armor upgrade as well. Yep, they have the leather Under Armour or whatever that upgrade's called. Sponsored by Under Armour. So a new age has begun. England is going to have to put their pedal to the metal now because this is a very, very good French timing. 100%. Hey, AB, thank you for the kind words, man. Appreciate that. Yeah, it's too late, Anakin. The French have the high ground. Which just goes to show, man, Viper very familiar with this matchup. And yeah, look at this. Men-at-Arms coming out just all day. And probably going to be getting another, defense upgrade here. I don't know. We'll see. Battering rams, where are they at? It looks like the first ram is going to be popping out here. I wonder if he's going to go after the School of Cavalry. And there's still a chance, like, English longbowmen with these kind of numbers can do some really devastating damage. But England is not going to be getting to the next age, probably. Yeah, we got knights in the back coming in, going to be taking some shots. Those royal knights will be veterans soon, but the English longbows do drag down one of the French knights there. Just the sheer numbers of them, able to do some good work. And here are the French men-at-arms. So they should have the 2 attack upgrades for free. Yeah, they just get those attack upgrades. So their base damage is actually 14, whereas other civs would be at like 12 right now because they wouldn't get the attack upgrades for free. So battering ram moving in. It looks like the French, they can afford to let the School of Cavalry go down or take quite a bit of damage. They just want to get a critical mass of men-at-arms so they can push this out. Honestly, an outpost here wouldn't be terrible either, just to buy some time. And look at that. The palings are being set up by the English. I love it. So if the French cavalry want to kind of rear charge here, and I really like what he's doing with these cavalry, he's basically using them to head off reinforcements. Like the English, our supply lines are blocked now, and this is what you got for England. And I would imagine the French knights are just going to do that until England can get a critical mass of reinforcements out. So here comes the men-at-arms. School of Cavalry is paying the price. It looks like another battering ram is coming up, but man, oh man, there are a lot of men-at-arms coming out. Any more upgrades? No. Although I wouldn't be surprised to see the wedge rivets here. That would be very, very strong. A couple little farms being set up here. And here it comes. The party is on. Hey, Pied Piper, appreciate that, man. Yeah, some fun matchups for sure. I mean, this is the best of the best, this tournament. We're getting some very, very high-level play. So England moving out with some reinforcements. Now they have enough units to actually push out. They're going to want to reinforce this army, though. If England doesn't just have enough bodies here... Oh, my God, there's a Mango, too. Oof, man. Yeah, he's going to have to dodge... Oh, God, the mangonel shots and the men-at-arms coming out to torch the battering rams. The Viper is in such a dominant position as his French men-at-arms just bull rush these English spears. The battering ram is canceled, and now England is just so on the back foot. Look how ineffective the archers are against these armored men-at-arms. And in the base, we even actually have some French knights getting into the cookie jar and taking out these villagers. The cat has gotten the canary! They're getting forced back pretty hard. As the English tried their best to defend this, but man, oh man, they're going to be on the back foot super hard. And I think England's going to have to go sit by the campfire for a minute to get some healing, because that Mango really, really was able to force them back. And talk about a doomed push. So French knights still causing some serious problems. The English trying to head them off. Might be able to get a couple kills here. The score is pretty well in the favor of the Viper, but England can come back. I think if they really just turn on the gold trade and, maybe defend with their longbows. Yeah, because England is really good at defending, right? You're getting that 25% attack speed buff. Here they're getting some really nice picks too. Pretty much all the French archers get just domed by those guys. And the men-at-arms have now gotten into the base. I think the English longbows will still take them out just through sheer attrition. And especially with this attack speed buff. So here they come. Look at that. And that entire unit takes like 3 volleys to kill 1 men-at-arms. Jeez. Those guys are tanky, dude. And even though like these guys will eventually be stopped, it's still going to be pretty annoying for sure. It's disrupting the economy. It looks like knights are being made for England, or that's kind of the game plan. Is England close to going to the Castle Age? It looks like he is. Okay, so Recon's going to be going Castle Age now. I wonder what landmark he'll get. Probably I would get the White Tower and just try and defend here. The French are still just on 1 TC. Oh, but look at this, man. Viper is just like thinking like levels ahead, right? Like he's like, okay, my opponent's probably going to build a big keep to try and defend himself here. Let's just like preemptively build a counterweight trebuchet, which is a very expensive investment, mind you. And the White Tower is being built, but the trebuchet is coming out, and that will mean veteran longbowmen as well. So veteran longbowmen certainly will pack a pretty substantial punch. And I think we're going to be seeing a switch to either knights or basic horsemen. Probably knights, honestly. The Mango up in the high ground certainly needs to be dealt with, but basic horsemen would be pretty good at hunting that bad boy down. You could even use some scouts. The White Tower is being built. Abandon your posts, flee the city. And here comes the men-at-arms moving in. The attack speed upgrades are here. Excuse me, not upgrades, but the bonus from the network of castles. A little bit of a mistake. A couple longbowmen are garrisoned here in the TC. I don't know if that's intentional or not, but Recon has reached the Castle Age. He can also start building spring alds almost instantly from his White Tower if he has the gold for it, but I think he's a little bit gold starved right now. Recon does now have 200 gold. Is he going to be building a spring ald? Spring ald would be an excellent counter against this mangonel here. And it looks like England is going to be pumping out some knights. Yeah, so England is going to be playing the knight game. So the great role reversal. In the meantime, though, We see the Viper going for a stone outcropping here. Going to be getting perhaps a second TC behind this, getting a massive farm economy going. So while England is on the back foot, kind of stressed out here, he's going to be taking map control, getting a very aggressive deer camp here, taking the stone outcropping, and I would imagine a trade post might be in the books here in the near future. So more and more knights being pumped out. But is France kind of backing off? Is this a feigned push? I don't think so. I think the counterweight trebuchet is going to sit. And honestly, you know what might not be a bad thing to do would be to start bombarding the houses here. You could just go after these just basic houses and just kind of, you know, falter the English food economy a little bit. So gold still accruing. England is making knights. Going to be looking for a big counter push most likely. Can use the knights to go after the mangonel. Men-at-arms aren't going to be super effective at cutting down a knight. They do 14 damage, which is quite good because French get the free melee upgrades. But English knights do have the armor, right? So they'll be bringing them down to 10. And the first mango is out. The white tower is not being used. You can use it as a siege workshop. Build another springald there, but it looks like he's just building one springald at a time. England going to be setting up the farm economy to try and get that juicy mill influence and get that business all set up. I wonder if England is just going to be teching to the Imperial Age as well to try and get the farm enclosures, like a turtling England with farm enclosures and just, yeah, living it up, man. Over here, lumber is still going. Looking at the income per minute, we'll evaluate both players. Currently pretty much dead even on food. Very, very even on most resources. But of course, Viper is allocating effort to his stone. And the stone here will allow him to get a second TC perhaps and go from there. But still pumping out troops nonstop. Hardened Spearmen, Springald's coming out. Both players looking to have one big fight here in the final stages of the battle. And I think we are going to be seeing a Royal Rumble soon. And this is going to be quite good, actually, because, I mean, English longbowmen can massacre the French spearmen. If with good micro, they can focus them down, right? And then suddenly, you know, the English knights can potentially do some good work against the artillery, the men-at-arms. And it looks like England may be popping out to fight. Nope. Is there no campfire upgrade? It doesn't look like it. Many of those longbowmen are quite damaged, and I think there's going to be a retreat here. I think that the Viper is going to be pulling back a little bit. He's got his counterweight trebuchets and triple mangonel. God damn. That is a lot of stopping power there. Now, in terms of vision, let's see if Recon can see up the hill. Yeah, you see, he can't quite see up there, so it's a little bit scary. And that means that the Viper is going to be having the high ground advantage. His Springalds are going to be getting the jump here. And now the Springalds of Recon are going to be forced back. And we have our first Royal Rumble. The fight is on. Springald's going to be popping into these mangoes, but those mangoes going to do some nice work. You're going to need some StarCraft Baneling splits here. And the fight isn't going terribly for England. The men-at-arms, of course, grinding pretty effectively. The archers have been forced back, but for the most part, the English DPS has been relatively poor because the longbows haven't been shooting. So the mangonel moving in once again. English knights charging in. Lances couched, but the men-at-arms for France holding like absolute champions. And the English longbows are just really on the run this entire battle here. So where are these English knights going to go? Holding very, very well. But honestly, I feel like up on the high ground, the Viper has like these two mangonels. He's got his Springalds. These Springalds of England have been taken out. I think there's one still lurking in the base here, which could potentially maybe take out this mangonel. We'll see. Another archer going down. And the White Tower is holding. Some Lord of the Rings shit for sure. The White Tower, yes. The Minas Tirith stands firm in the face of the Mordor French. We'll find out. But for the most part, I think Viper is in a little bit more of a commanding position. He's probably going to be going to the Imperial Age Schooner. But he's just getting so much utility on the map too. Is there a second TC being built? I see that stone being gathered. Yeah, second TC is coming down. That's going to give him a huge economic lead. England can play from behind though. They're probably one of the better civs at doing that in general. The fact that your farms are so cheap and you also can get gold in the Imperial Age from your farms, like really, really allows you to play from behind. But I don't know how long they're going to be able to endure this because I don't think that Viper is going to be taking the pressure off. And in terms of the overall score, Viper is very, very far ahead. 3,800 against 26 for Recon. So Recon definitely on the back foot here as the English longbows continue to muster force here in the back of the base. Gold has also just run out for England, which is very, very scary. They're going to have to do a little bit of a secret agent gold mining here because the map is more or less controlled by the French. And no relics. That's also something else I've noticed from this tournament is it seems like a lot of the players kind of forego the relics, so they just don't really focus on it. Like, with a little bit of effort, I feel like the Viper could have like a monastery up and he could have 3 relics generating 300 gold a minute right now. Like, easily, right? Very, very good awareness from the French, realizing that the English have probably run out of gold and they're going to be going to shut that down. And this is really going to be putting them on the back foot. I think you'll have one last chance to ride out and meet them here. I think the English will have maybe an opportunity to clear these guys out. And yeah, that's what's going to need to happen here. But goddamn, look at the artillery here. There's so many mangonels and just heavy-duty units. Man-at-arms going to pull back, but honestly, they should be fine. English farmers coming out. The villagers looking to jump on the gold node. Going to be hurrying, gathering whatever gold they can. And the English knights doing some decent pressure here as the mangonels continue to shoot. The Viper being very conservative with his artillery force here. Maybe not wanting to overextend and get caught out. Just playing it very, very safe. But the English are getting a little bit of gold established once again, which if he was gold starved here, that probably would just be GG, but it looks like the French were a little bit too apprehensive to take that fight here. Going to be retreating with units, trying to get more of a critical mass, picking off spring alds here. Very, very nice pick. So those spring alds definitely getting punished. Seems like the Viper just has probably better vision overall and is really, really popping a lot of the English spring alds. Oh my god, look at this. So down on the bottom west, the spring alds actually, not spring alds, what are these, spring ald workers? The mining camp is set up. That is a very deep and risky mining for the English, but it's so unexpected that I think he might be able to get away with it. Yeah, no sacred sites being accrued. I would definitely like to see that. Here we have a villager. He's not a religious character, so we can't claim the sacred site, but I would like to see that. Counterweight trebuchets up on the high ground, shooting at houses. And just like we talked about earlier, going after the houses is going to be very annoying for Recon. Granted, his supply is quite good. He's got plenty of houses set up. He's at 160 max right now. So losing 10 here and there isn't really going to be the end of the world as it goes down to 150. And yeah, I really wish players would go after the sacred site. It's like so much free gold. It's so much free gold. And over the course of a long game, it can really add up. And man, so French are probably one of the best civs at forward aggression because of their keeps. So French keeps give an influence ore to archery ranges and stables nearby and give them 25% cheaper production. So France can set up like a keep like this and then produce a bunch of knights and or archers out of it for 25% less gold. Or not gold, but resources overall, which is crazy strong. So I would imagine he's going to set this up, probably set up 1 million archery ranges here and or stables, produce French knights, and just go crazy here. And now the counterweight trebs are going to be going after the houses. Yep, still going after it. And honestly, Recon is getting a little bit gold or supply blocks here. They're getting kind of danger close. Viper, of course, very cozy at 144 supply. England at 103. So Viper with a massive lead as it pertains to supply here. And the French up on the high ground, the trebuchets still just bombarding in, and the council hall might be going down. The English army looking very, very, narrow compared to the French force. I mean, the French don't have as much, it doesn't look as big because most of their resources is invested in artillery, but man, that is a ton of stopping power. And the high ground advantage too. Take a look at the vision. So Recon cannot even see like these units bombarding him out here. Like just has that high ground, really, really doing some nasty work. Now the French are going to be sending some eco-harass over here, so sending some men-at-arms and spears, and they're going to be just punishing these English villagers. However, England does have its little secret agent outpost here on the bottom. And over here, the spring alds continue to pop in. So going after the spring alds of England, but England actually getting a couple favorable trades there. And it looks like we might have a fight on our hands. So the longbow's a little bit bunched up. They're going to have to go spread fire mode. Oh god, the mango shots! Oh god, the longbowmen getting just melted there. And the men-at-arms and spears pushing back the English knights, although the spring ald's doing very, very well. A lot of the French artillery is going down here, but now there's going to be a flank coming in from the French units that were sent for the economic harass. But the English longbows getting absolutely devastated by those mangonels. And even though England did okay in that fight, they just don't have the backing to rebuild an army like this. Whereas France can just, cackle all the way to the bank and just keep producing units nonstop because their economy completely unhindered, pretty much doing whatever they want on the map, taking gold in the middle. And England really, really is on the back foot. No sacred sites or relics being taken. I mean, man, just build a religious building here and just take it. Just for my sanity, please. And yeah, that's got to be it, man. I mean, he is so far behind. A nice hold for sure. Is there any hope for an Imperial Age? That's the one hope I would see for England. Maybe is Imperial Age England to try and get the farm boom, but I don't think that's going to happen, man. He's on 1 TC. Economy for England is 47, and the Viper is sitting at 89 right now. Oof. Talk about a brutal lead. And the French, again, pushing them off gold. Not completely, though. We have this little gold node down here in the corner generating quite a bit of value. But the counterweight trebuchets have finished the council hall. The White Tower is going to be next. Minas Tirith will fall. The age of men is over, apparently. We'll find out if the Oryx and the Orcs can get in there. Well, I guess there was no Uruk-hai at Pelennor Field, so... Maybe there was in the books. I can't remember. Last time I read Lord of the Rings was God, it must have been 2000. I mean, I've seen the movies a million times, but... Yeah, does anybody know that? The last time I read the books was probably 2002 or 2003. Were there Uruk-hai at Pelennor Fields? I don't think so. I think all the Uruk-hai went to Helm's Deep. Yeah, from Isengard. I don't know. Maybe some Tolkien aficionados can let me know in chat. Battle rage is on, and the French doing just a slow push, man. Just dropping big, fat, thick keeps right in the face of the English. And now the French knights have gotten in, and England is a little bit out of position to defend this, and I think the French knights are going to get into the farms back here, do some decent economic damage, and even if he loses all these knights, again, he is so far ahead, I don't think it matters. In terms of income per minute, Viper is pretty much crushing it in every regard except gold, ironically, because of the little expansion down there. But yeah, a lot of eco damage. The farmers are going down. It's going to be tough to replenish those guys. England will be able to dispatch these French knights, but overall, the press continues. Another keep coming up, and I would imagine even another keep will probably be placed here. Currently, the Viper is banking how much stone? He's got 400 stone, give or take. The big counterweight trebuchet still bombarding down into the hills. No Uruk at Pelennor Field. That's what I thought. They were not there, yeah. They were exclusively Saruman's creation. Yeah, I knew that. I just wasn't sure if, like, in the books it was like... Because in the movies, obviously, there's no Urukai, but... Yeah, like, in the books, there might have been, like, some weird passage, like, oh, yes, and Saruman sent, like, a vanguard of Urukai to help. You know, like... You know, in books, there's always, like, little weird details like that could be overlooked. But yeah, I didn't think so. Thank you guys for answering the questions. All right, so Keeps are attacking the lumber camps here up at the high ground. The French still just moving in with their counterweight trebuchets. A classic siege. And England valiantly holding on. You got to give mad props to Recon for fighting this out. But I mean, if he could see the map, he would probably GG out and just like know that his opponent is pretty much doing whatever he wants. Now we finally have a monastery out. So it looks like there is going to be some sacred site control and some relics being grabbed, which is pretty crazy. We're 26 minutes in the game. Like in every game I play, I feel like players prioritize relics like super heavily. But again, this is some next level stuff here. As the trebuchets continue to bombard into the town center, 2 landmarks have been destroyed for England, which I believe is, yeah, so this is their feudal and castle. And if this town center dies, then the game is just straight up over. They're going to be losing due to the landmarks. And I don't know if Recon is aware of this. Trying to set up more farms. Obviously, the French are raiding everywhere. The big, thick trebuchets still bombarding in. And Viper, you know, Viper won with English against French last game. And then Recon wanted to try his hand at English against French. But Viper just showing that he was very prepared for the rush. He had archers and knights and also did a hard tech to the castle age and was able to counter the push with men-at-arms. So the English timing was perhaps a little bit off this game. French knights in the backfield going to get picked apart by spring alts, but it doesn't matter too much. They're still disruptive, still occupying the attention of his opponent, and the TC, honestly, just rushing the TC and torching it might just be the play, just to end the game. I mean, this thing only has a couple thousand HP left, and the French knights still just riding about, getting spring alted right in the old face. But the Trebs, man, they have such a good position, and this is so nasty. Looking at Recon's vision, like, he has no high ground vision here. There's no, like, his spring alts have to, like, go up the hill to shoot these, if I'm not mistaken. And it looks like we're going to be having a little spring alt duel. Once again, French Knights getting into the eco, going after the gold. And these spring alts are probably going to be potentially going down here. We'll see. But I like that before they go down, Viper has really, really good target priority, and he basically just goes after all of these spring alts right here and gives them the old dirty. So, a little bit of a trade, but again, France can afford to trade, England cannot. Their economy can't sustain that. The TC is very low, and I'm surprised we're just not seeing a push in, a Rohirrim push. Honestly, just pull the villagers, pull all these spearmen. But that's GG, well played. And with that, Viper is going to be going on to the grand finals of the Genesis tournament. Congratulations to him. Very well played. We'll be seeing him in the finals a little bit later today. Viper, best AoE 2 player. Well, apparently Viper is the best AoE 4 player as well. So far, it might seem that is the case. So as a unit count, looking at the score, yeah, Viper was pretty in control. Especially when he got that freaking castle age there. Yeah, the castle age timing was very, very nasty to push back the English push. Well played to those two gentlemen. It was a fun match for sure. Some cool French hard tech to counter the English push. And that is it for now. So, updating the scorecard, making it official. Viper is going to be winning 3-1. And now we will prepare for the next battles. So it's going to be probably about 10 minutes or so before the next battle starts. But the next game, let's go ahead and pull that up to show you guys, is going to be between... Where's the news hatch? There it is. The brackets are here, my friends. So, Viper has won. He will be advancing on to the grand finals of today's tournament. And let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit. Thank you. I know, I see this. I'm going to appreciate that. It's going to be Mista versus Vortex. So Mista is our local champion. He won one of the first tournaments I had on my channel, so I feel like we kind of have to root for Mista a little bit. He is facing off against Vortex. I believe Vortex is the brother he's a brother of another one of the players in this event. I think Lucifron. Yeah, it's pretty cool. You got two brothers making it to the top 8 of like a huge tournament. That's really, really awesome. Quite a storyline, isn't it? So, switching on back. This was the results from yesterday. So you can see these were the round of 8, and now this is the top business here, and we're going to be getting set for this match. Yeah, I know. Some seriously solid players playing here in the top 4. So, we are going to be changing ye old names here and getting it all set up. The Mista, who I believe is a Greek player. I think he's from Greece. Yeah. I don't know where Vortex is from. We'll find out. Somebody in chat could perhaps let us know. Viper versus Mista. AoE 2 Pro versus Age of Mythology Pro. Yeah. It's pretty damn cool. So let me go ahead and find these guys. It looks like the Mista is in the lobby. He's got a pretty scary win rate too. If you go to his profile, we can go ahead and take a look and do a little bit of match history. Dude, guys, look at the Mista's profile. Check this out. Mista has 78 wins and out of 86 games. So he is 78. Oh my God, 78 wins and 8 losses? Jesus, that is insane. 78 and 8 is his record in quick battles. That is just ludicrous. I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall to see who was actually able to win a couple of those games against him. Vortex is from Ulthuan. He's French, Spanish. Okay, I'm hearing a lot of different things. Dude, check this out. Oh my goodness, 78 and 8. Jesus, that is wild. That is an impressive record. So we can take a look at the leaderboards real quick. He might not have the highest ELO, but nonetheless, let's go to, pull this up. Go to the leaderboards. Give you guys a little bit of a taste of what it looks like here. So we will go to the news here. And you can see the leaderboard. So number 1, I believe this is a Viper, like one of Viper's Smurfs here. So like it's very easy to climb the leaderboards currently with like a Smurf, because you could just like bum rush through the earlier games where you're playing weaker opponents and get a very good record. But nonetheless, it's still very impressive here. But you can see these are the leaderboards right now. So I would imagine that Mista is here somewhere. Yeah, 78 wins and 8 losses. Homeboy has like a 90% win rate. You can see Hera here has like a 59%, which is still very good, right? But like this is crazy. This is just some wild stuff. Looks like we got Kapak here. Yeah. Although I think this is a Smurf for him. I think Kapak has another profile because I've actually played against Kapak before. Yeah, here's his main profile. Yeah, 67%. You can see a lot of people have Smurfs, right? I don't know why they do that. Like make Smurfs, maybe just to like, you know, I don't know, so people can't see them practicing or something. I don't really know what the reason behind that is. Maybe just to have like a better record and they just like abandon the account that isn't as good. I don't know. Interesting. So we will be getting ready for the next match here in a second. Mista is a raid boss for sure. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy, whoever wins this series. So they're in the lobby right now. We'll just hang tight for a minute and we'll be getting started with the next match momentarily. Once again, want to thank you guys all for joining. 90% win rate, I know. Like really, like I think that's going to change too when like we get ranked and you have actual leagues, because the thing is, like when I played my first like 25 games on launch, I probably had an 80-90% win rate too. But now, you know, it's kind of normalized. As I've gotten to the, you know, where I am now and I'm playing people at my skill level, it's more like around 55-60% is my win rate, yeah, give or take. Yeah, 90% is pretty crazy. Oh, Hoff, yeah, absolutely. So in the beta, my record was like 10 wins and 25 losses because I was literally playing like Mista, Kapak, and all these guys like nonstop and just getting owned. Since then, yeah, I think I have like 90 something wins and like 70 losses. I don't quite know what it is. Yeah, it's more about the ELO though. That's like more the that's more the test, because that like also determines like the quality of players they play against. So like you can usually tell from that. Yeah. Number 29 has a 100% win rate. Yeah, that's a Smurf account. So that's somebody's Smurf. It's not like the main account. So if they continue to play more games on that account, they would play people at their skill level more so, and they'd probably get some losses. Yeah. Yeah, we will see. I got AoE 4, but I'm scared to play multiplayer. Oh, Chuck, don't worry about it, man. You should just jump in and play some against the AI, grab some friends, play some multiplayer matches, just laugh, you know, have a good time. When you're feeling up to it, you jump in and play. That's that. So the Mista is ready. Let us go ahead and observe. It's going to be Mista versus Vortex. Mongols versus the Abbasid dynasty. Okay, pretty cool. So the Abbasid are making a return here, which is very, very fun. Pretty sure Mista's Smurf was near the top of the ladder too anyways. Yeah, makes sense. It's to relax, test new strats, and not get recognized. Lots of StarCraft players do it too. Makes sense. Yeah, makes sense. But I'm pretty sure on Steam you could just change your name if you don't want to be recognized, but I don't know. Yeah, maybe you can't do it here. Yeah, so it's very easy for like super high level players to make a Smurf account and win their first like 20 games, right? Because like you're going to be playing people who are new at the game or who are low ELO. And then once your ELO gets higher and you play more games, you're going to start having like harder games. That's why you see like Smurfs who have like 90% win rates in the top of the bracket. And then you see someone like who's like an amazing player like Hera who has like a 60% because he plays on the same account. He probably doesn't Smurf, or maybe he does, I don't know. But he's like playing against people of his skill level. Whereas like a lot of the Smurf accounts who don't have so many games have super crazy records and ELOs because they just like basically go noob hunting in the beginning. Yeah. So just take that into account. But it is going to be Mongols versus the Abbasid. Vortex versus the Mista. I'm really excited for ranked to come out too. Like, I'm curious what that system's going to be like. Will they have leagues and like I hope they have like custom banners and stuff like that. I'm really excited to just grind ranked games. Yeah. Yeah, the civ pick rules, I'm not sure how the pick and ban structure works, but the one thing I do know is that if you win with a civilization in a series, you cannot play them again. So basically you can't like go back and play like, if you win with Mongols, you can't play them the next game. But if you lose with a civ, you can actually try and play them again. Yeah. Mass Horsemen, perhaps so. Yeah, it seems a bit too easy for those Smurf accounts to shoot to the top. Yeah, it's a little bit ridiculous, but honestly, the quick battle leaderboards don't really mean too much. I think when ranked comes out, I mean, they do. It means quite a bit. Like, it's obviously shows who's the top hogs, but I think the ranked leaderboards will be a little bit more structured and probably will be like more of a like you'll have to get through like a qualification. They'll probably have like an advancement system. I'm not sure how they're going to do it, but that will mean a little bit more. Yeah, man. Mista looking to shut down those horsemen with camels. Maybe so. I don't know. You know, we haven't seen too many players mass camels. I've run into it a couple times on ladder where Abbasid will mass spearmen and camel archers like in the beginning, and it's kind of hard to deal with for sure because then they build battering rams and the camels are just so tanky. But typically, like basic archers will out DPS camels as the game progresses just because of the volume and like how many you can get. Yeah. When is ranked supposed to be added? I'm not sure. I am not sure. That's why we best of 5. Each player is guaranteed to win with French, and then we best of 3. French have actually been getting stomped pretty heavily in this tournament. But again, I think everybody practiced on defeating them, so like the builds are really honed against them. I still think on like casual play and quick battles, and French are very, very dominant. I would imagine they have a pretty crazy win rate. I'd be really interested to see the statistics on that. Has Relic released any information like that? Yeah. Camels are very expensive, yeah. Typically, like what you see in armies is like 1 camel thrown in, 1 or 2, because the camel will give the debuff aura to the entire enemy army, and all you need is like a couple camels. More so than seeing like a mass force. The one unit I don't think I've seen in any like games I've played since launch is actually the melee camel riders. Like I don't think I've seen anybody make those, which is a shame because they're so cool. I feel like if the game went super late, maybe you'd see some because with their upgrades, they could become pretty scary from the military wing of the House of Wisdom, but yeah, I don't know. Just 1 or 2 camels will do the trick. All right, so here we are, spawning on the southeast corner of the map. It's going to be our Mongolian champion, Vortex. Vortex. I just want to call him Vortex. Up in the north, it's going to be the Mista, our resident champion, going with the Abbasid. So you guys know what that means. You guys know what the Abbasid like to do. You know how they like to party. They like to basically just get to the Castle Age, build a ton of artillery, and push you down because they can basically hard tech to Castle Age and then just spam out like 5 spring ults like instantly. It's very, very crazy. Panda, thank you for the $2. Let's go. Hey, hell yeah, man. Let's go indeed. So this map, I'm trying to remember. This is Mountain Pass, I think. Is it? Seems like a little bit of an odd placement. Like this is really big. Like the double sacred site here, man. If you're able to get like a keep right here in the middle, you secure 2 just fat, thick, veiny gold veins, right? And then on top of that, you're going to be able to get both sacred sites and like 2 relics. This looks like just bread city. But again, with a game with Mongols and also with the Abbasid, typically the games probably won't go that long with either civ. But like this over here just looks like such a juicy, juicy spot. So it looks like the stone has been found. Yes, the Ovo is set up, and it looks like we got a pretty balanced build. The Mongols actually only have 1 worker on lumber at the moment, so it looks like they're just going to be doing a standard tech. I don't think they're going to be doing any sort of like early Dark Age pressure. Maybe so. We'll find out. But overall, the Mista doing a very standard opening as well, going for gold and food, looking to get the House of Wisdom up next most likely, or maybe a lumber mill, then the House of Wisdom. And he is going to be probably just trying to get to the next age and do his business. Yeah, we'll see, man. We will see. Abbasid versus Mongols. Yeah, it's a pretty fun matchup. I don't think we've seen this one. Both of these civilizations, actually, have access to improved siege engineering. So they could both theoretically produce like a mass artillery at the Third Age. However, the Mongols have to pay for it, whereas the Abbasid get it for free. So a little bit of a difference there. Now, could this be the game that we see the Mongolian trade style be used? I'm not sure. The Mongols, we'll see when we can see their landmark. Obviously, the deer stones have been pretty common. It seems like those have been the ones we've been seeing more often as it pertains to Mongol feudal age landmarks. But I feel like a silver tree would be a pretty cool one. Abbasid aren't like a super heavy cavalry faction. I mean, yeah, they can go like camels. Camels aren't terribly fast though. So I feel like a trade economy could be, could be a good call. Like setting up your market up here in the corner, getting a trade post down here. I don't know how well the Abbasid would punish that, but It is a little bit of a slower build, like investing the gold and the wood into the traders, of course, will slow you down a little bit. So we will see. It's crazy good though, because what you do is you build the silver tree next to the OVO and you double produce traders for the cost of 1. And then once you build like 6 of them, you move the market like over here, and then you're just like getting so much goddamn gold. It's like you get so much money. House of Wisdom coming up. So for those of you guys who are new to the game, the Abbasid do not actually get any landmarks. Instead, they have this House of Wisdom where you can choose from the economic, military, cultural, or trade wing. And each of them unlocks a whole slew of upgrades that obviously pertain to the title that I just announced. And here he is going to be going for the economic wing. So he's going to getting the fresh foodstuffs, which reduces the cost to produce villagers by 50%. Really good. So if you want to go like double base eco Abbasid, this is like one of the better upgrades in the game. Very, very strong. They also have the phalanx to increase the attack range of spearmen. The camel handling makes their camels faster. Composite bows is, yes, this is the one I was talking about. This is crazy good. So with the Abbasid, if you get composite bows plus the boot camp, you actually have the best archers in the game, because your archers are 15% tankier in terms of their health, and they also have the reload time, which is faster than enemy archers. So the Abbasid can go crazy, crazy late game archers. Very, very strong for sure. So the Mongols, they are going for the deer stones. Yeah, it seems like that's going to be the meta. It's very interesting. Maybe people feel like the trade economy is too slow and a little bit too vulnerable to being punished. But man, oh man, if you can get away with that trade economy, you are going to be the Terminator. But the deer stones do give you a lot of utility. The mobility that they provide and the YAM network and all that sort of good stuff is very, very fun. Now back up here, we have the Khan looking around. He is just maybe looking to scout. We can see the vision of Vortex so far. Looks like he's been circling around, and has he found any prey? The Khan has not. Of course, in the Dark Ages, the Khan only hits for like 2 damage, which is fair. Because if the Khan hit for like 6 damage in this age, it would just be the most annoying shit ever. He would just be like killing workers left and right, and it would just be a disaster. But both players going to be reaching the feudal age around the same point. House of Wisdom about to finish with its economic wing. Really, really good upgrades. Yeah, the Abbasid's late game is quite strong too. So another thing about the Abbasid, I was going to explain it earlier, is they do have the Golden Age. So the more buildings that they have within the influence of their Sim City, basically, so you can see all these little plus signs, you have to like connect them together. There's a big aura of influence. The faster you progress through your Golden Age. So first Golden Age gives you 10% gather rate for all resources, 15% at tier 2 with research speed. And then at the third Golden Age, which is kind of hard to do, it's 60 buildings, you get 20%, 20%, and 20% production speed as well. It's crazy. So Abbasid's late game is actually very strong. Like spamming archers with all these economic upgrades you get, it's pretty damn beast mode. So Abbasid, I would say, are like, I don't know, they're pretty good. Like they have a good second age, like not bad. They have some unique units, and obviously you can put a ton of pressure on with siege engineering. And they also are pretty strong in the later stages of the game. I feel like Abbasid could be like a hidden powerhouse civ. And clearly we're seeing it get picked a little bit in this this tournament. I think we've seen them picked like 3 or 4 times overall, which isn't bad considering, you know, most games are English, French, Rus, Mongols. That's been like the very meta, although Rus has been having probably the worst performance. I don't think that's really reflected per se of like them as a civilization. I feel like they're quite strong, but overall I think players, yeah, the players playing against them were doing very, very well. So I think that is a little bit more of a thing here. The mighty sweet potato, the YAM network. Dude, I love sweet potatoes. Oh, is the Khan gonna get a pick? Yes, the early eco kill. First blood has been drawn by the dreaded Mongolian Khan as he picks apart that villager right there. Poor guy. Yeah, it's like the classic death by 1,000 spoon blows. Do the Abbasid have any archers coming out? Going double archer range, no surprise. Pretty common for Abbasid. Probably also going to be getting a steeled arrow upgrade very, very soon to get the damage spike. And then I have a feeling Mista is going to go 1 base, mass archer, battering ram push, try and end the game. Now the Khan's range, what is his range? He's got 6 tile range. Basic archers have 5 actually. So the Khan actually can outrange archers. Pretty interesting. I didn't really ever take note of that, but he can do the trick. So the archers are moving across. Just kind of trying to screen out the Khan, who's being very, very annoying. You could honestly just put the scout on him. The scout can, you know, regenerate, so he can heal through the damage that I mean, the Khan will eventually kill the scout, but you can like poke him in and out, in and out. And I feel like Mista is going to be going for a push. Is he getting any upgrades? He is getting the iron undermesh, so he's getting the armor upgrades for his own units. What are the Mongols doing in terms of military? Okay, they're getting their own archers, but they're double producing them at the OVO. Check that out. So the Mongols can really, really muster a huge force very quickly with that OVO. But again, it's going to be using their stone. If we look at the current resources, you can see Vortex is actually banking quite a bit still. So yeah, he didn't use any early in the Dark Ages, so just going to be playing, you know, very, very eco Mongols here as the scout continues to battle the hardened Khan. I don't know if it's really worth it to pay this much attention to the Khan, but only 5 archers for the Abbasid, and for the Mongols, we are currently rocking 10. So double the archers for the Mongols. But again, the Abbasid will catch up eventually because they have the double racks against the single racks. And the stone, of course, will run to its end game here, as it does cost 80 stone to pop to really do that. So it's something that the Mongols won't be able to do forever. On top of that, upgrades will favor the Mista. He's got the ranged armor upgrade, so his archers will be slightly more durable, and he has not gotten the steeled arrow yet. Are the Mongols getting any upgrades as well? Looks like they did get the balanced projectiles, or they got the first ranged upgrade. So honestly, they pretty much cancel each other out there. So both players are doing the business, and it looks like we have a second TC coming in for Vortex. All right, so the die is cast. Looks like we are going to be getting eco-Mongols. They are going to be doing what we saw earlier with the Viper, where they just basically eco up super hard and just get a dread legion of Mongolian infantry units and maybe do a tier 3 timing of some sort. What is the Abbasid planning to do? Let's look at his banked resources. So we are looking at 600 food, 200 gold. Are we going to be seeing the Abbasid go for a fast castle age? I think that might be the case. The fact that he's building an outpost here, I think he's going to mass archers and then basically build springalds and try and end the game backed up by battering rams. Got a couple archers over here looking to deal with any Mongolian harass. And the Mongols are coming with a big force of archers, man. Yeah, he's got 16 archers in total pressing into the base. For the Mista, he's got 8 right here. And on the other side, he's got another 8. So really the numbers are pretty similar now, actually. As the Mongols, though, will probably get the jump on them. Oh, man. Oh, Mista, this could be a huge misplay. Yeah, and you can see the archers for the Mongols are very quick because of the maneuver arrow from the Khan, so they're able to pick off a couple of Mista's archers. That's a really, really, really nice early pick here from Vortex. Yeah, beautiful play. And the Abbasid rushing some archers over, but they do lose 3. And in the early game, like little things like that can really matter quite a bit. Obviously, the Mista was saving up for Castle Age here. You can see he's at 750, 323. Probably going to have to set up another outpost down here to mitigate this attack. He does have a nice outpost here, which could probably fend off the archers if they choose to go harass the gold lines. But overall, looks like he's still pumping out archers, which will be slowing down his Castle Age tech. And behind this, the Mongols, of course, can tech themselves. But they have that second TC. So even though they're putting on pretty optimal pressure, the Mongols still have that second TC, and they are going to be getting a pretty good little economic situation going. So, oh no, don't summon the Slanesh bots. Have they arrived? Have the Dread Beasts arrived? Perhaps they have. So, Mista still going for tier 3. Or age 3. It's so weird, yeah, calling it tier 3. Like, in so many of the games I play, I'm so used to saying tier instead of age. I'll get there eventually. I'll get there eventually, my friends. Did any Lord of the Rings pro manage to tell Turin? Yes, he did. Yes, the Pelennor Fields question was answered many moons ago, my friend. And yeah, this makes sense. Abbasid get a huge power spike at age 3. So just one base, age 3, hit these berry bushes like an absolute champ. The Abbasid berry bushes do have 500 max food instead of 250, which is quite nice. So the Abbasid and the Delhi Sultanate both have that. In terms of archer count, we got 23 archers here. The Mongols are getting 23 plus a ram. This is really aggressive. Like, he's got 2 TC and he's going in with like battering rams behind this. And the Mongols must have the upgraded or improved siege engineering. I don't know if they have that. We'll have to see if they unlock that. But they do have basic siege engineering. And the first ram is going to be popping in, probably going after this outpost up here. And then looking to push him off gold here. Mista is very, very close to the third age, though. He only needs a little bit more food. I think about 200 food, give or take. And now the force is pushing in. The outpost should be garrisoned. I would imagine some of the villagers will jump in there, and it should help. Mista getting ready for a Royal Rumble, but Vortex is coming for blood. He also has the support of the Khan. The Khan does have the attack speed arrow, so his archers can attack faster and move faster depending on the circumstances. So maybe a slight edge there. And the battering ram is forcing out a defensive response, and now the third age has begun. So we are going to be seeing the Cultural Wing. Cultural Wing unlocks a couple cool upgrades, including the Preservation of Knowledge, which reduces the cost of all technology by 30%. Medical centers, allowing your keeps to heal nearby units, and faith. So imams can convert units without holding a relic, but it can only target a single unit. Arrogance, appreciate it. I love the commentary. Hey man, we're here for you. We're gonna have some fun times together. And now the Mongols pull back. It looked like it was a little bit of a feigned push, probably trying to bait some sort of a response out of Mista, but Mista very calm. Basically just gets his tech and continues to produce archers, and doesn't seem to have been hindered too bad by that Mongolian push. Now, in terms of the economics here, Mista is supply blocked, unfortunately, at 38 economic supply, and his opponent's at 45. So obviously the double TC is starting to kick in. More and more eco is going to be pouring into the Mongolian forces, and wood is quite important for Mongols, because if you want to switch into a pasture economy, they cost 150 wood a pop. So making sure to have a healthy bank of that good stuff is very, very important. Oh yeah, I'm excited for this. So pretty much every game we've seen today has been the step readout from the Mongols, which is their age 3 landmark. So what the step readout does is it's a drop-off building for Mongols, where basically they get 50% more gold from the drop-off. However, the Kurultai here makes it so when the Khan is nearby, the Kurultai heals all nearby damage units and provides 25% damage bonus. It is crazy good. So what you do with Mongols is you get the upgrade from your OVO to get faster buildings. You get the superior mobility. And then the Kurultai is like a mobile medical tent. You can just bring it with you to attack your opponent's base. It gives you a huge damage spike and also heals your units. It is freakishly good. Freakishly good. So we'll see what the Kurultai can do. I can't tell you how many games I've lost against Kurultai pushes. Many games have my Holy Romans struggled against his mighty structure. But now it looks like the Abbasid might be considering a push of their own. A little bit hard to say. They are in the third age, or they're about to be. Let's look at the resources bank for Mista. Yeah, 400 and 750. That means he's going to build like 3 Spring Alds right away. Maybe a mango. A single, like 2 Spring Alds and a mango could be really good too. The mango obviously puts a ton of pressure on like builds like this and will force his opponent to kind of pull back. Yeah, so there's a Mangadel coming out. Man, it's such a look at that. They're doing the Shaun of the Dead dance. They're doing like a rain dance. They're like circling and chanting the artillery. I love that. Yeah, it's hilarious. So the Kurultai is here. The Deer Stones are moving up. You have like 2 buildings. You can bring the Deer Stones with you for the speed, and you can bring the Kurultai with you just for the healing and other benefits that you get there. But now the press is on only 1 mango being built, which is strange. I would expect more, like you know, some sort of a Spring Ald, just like pop units consistently. Okay, there is a Spring Ald being built here, which is very, very important. It gives you the artillery advantage and can certainly do some work. But yeah, Mista is ahead in terms of the age, but man, oh no, it looks like Vortex just got there. Yeah, Kurultai just finished. Okay, so he's all good. Yeah, honestly, man, Vortex's economy is just taking a fat one on the enemy force here. He's doing so good. Look at this, just so many villagers. And is he going to be able to hold the Abbasid push? We have the Spring Ald, we have the Mangadel. Mongols just really proving to be a powerhouse. I mean, maybe Mongols are, you know, I'm curious what the consensus will be after this event, but it seems like Mongols, I think, are undefeated. I don't know if they've lost a single game in this tournament, which makes sense. I've been getting punished by them on ladder for a long time, and honestly, I just was at times thinking I wasn't very good at dealing with them, but really, I just think, starting to think they're very, very strong. Not a bad play by Mista, though. He must know he's behind. I mean, he's on 1 TC. He has to know his opponent has a 2nd TC here, and going in for the kill with the artillery advantage, I think, is his best bet. Unfortunately for him, though, Mongols are getting some heavy lancers, and the heavy lancers will be super effective against the archers. Granted, Spring Alds are pretty good at picking them off. You can see some villagers getting picked here. The first ram is moving in, and the Abbasid push is upon us. Yes, we will see. So the TC going to be getting pushed. Spring Alds will start blasting into archers and getting kills at a reasonable pace. But I think at this point, the Mongols are just going to zerg this. Like, I don't think they're going to care at all. Like, those heavy lancers eating those shots like champions. Villagers coming out. Big fight. Vortex going in with the torches. And all the Abbasid artillery is just getting trash canned so fast. And the Mista, he's got to be losing this game after this. That is a devastating fight. The Mongols just having none of that business. And now the Khan is going to be leading all of his archers. And the Kurultai isn't even being used. Like, the Kurultai could be up here healing these guys. Just doing so much. It's back in the base, and the Abbasid pretty much lost all the artillery they pushed in with. Now, the game isn't over yet, but the economic lead for the Mongols has got to be pretty big, and I don't see them being able to come back unless there's a big misplay by Vortex. Like, for example, he moves his archers into a Mangadel shot. He's got 59 supply, and looking at the Mista here, the Mista is currently rocking 47, so pretty far behind. And Mista is just really persistent, still pushing in once again. Have we seen a Dread Camel? I don't think so. No camels are being produced at the moment. Just basic archers at this point. We do have Castle Age for both players, and here comes the Veteran Archer Legion, and the Mongol archers are also veterans, but they are getting heavy lancers, and the lancers will be pretty good at pushing down the formation. So battering ram once again, Mista is just like, he is persistent, and he's going to be pushing in here as the Spring Alds will now start hammering this TC as well. The Mongols will be coming out for round 2, and here it comes. The Lancers moving in. The Spring Alds need to pick off those Lancers because honestly this Abbasid army not going to be terribly efficient against those Mongol heavy cavalry. And here comes the workers once again. The villagers have been pulled, so at least there will be some eco losses. But the Mista is forced back as the Spring Alds once again are just absolutely torched by the Mongols. Now, a lot of eco damage though. This actually could give the Mista a little something to work with, but overall I think this entire army is probably going to get cut down or at least chased off. Yeah, the Khan is giving the movement speed. They have the Yam aura, so their army is just so much faster. Them Sweet Potatoes doing some good work. And the Khan has fallen, but the Mongols now have a massive advantage in the archer count. 31 against 23. And also there's a couple Lancers in here just like eating all those shots like champs. Another Spring Ald being built in the hills. But I see this being the end of the road. Right now, Vortex actually has double the score of the Mista. And I think that's going to be GG. I don't know if Mista will call it, but looking at his army in the base, I mean, he's got nothing left. I mean, that was pretty much an all-in. He spent a ton of resources on his artillery. I mean, I think we saw 5 to 7 Spring Alds built in like a Mangonel, all of which were torched by like villagers, basically. And that will probably be GG here in the first game. I would imagine the Mongols will be claiming victory over the Abbasids here in just a second. The Golden Horde proving to be the biggest powerhouse of this tournament so far. For sure. Yeah, the villager rush was really good. It was great. I mean, hey, you got 2 CCs, you got extra villagers, why the hell not? So the Abbasid panic building a couple spring alts in the back. They have warded off death for now, but Golden Horde will be persistent. So here they come, more Lancers moving up. Going to be trying to take out this battering ram to make sure it doesn't do any funny business. And the Abbasid going to be on the back foot, spamming defensive spring alts. And just trying to hold, man. But look at the score. And look at the income per minute, too. Let's check that out. So Vortex is just killing it on food. The only thing he's behind on is wood. But yeah, he's just very, very far ahead here. And now the Mongols coming in with Lancers. These poor spring alts never had a chance to live. They will be taken out. And that is going to be game one. A very, very dominant victory for the Mongols. Honestly, they never really looked like they were in danger. Despite a good tier 3 timing from Mista. But Vortex just very, very good control. And yeah, it looks like he knew what was coming and was prepared for it. The double production of archers was incredibly solid. Incredibly solid for sure. So, let's update the scorecards. It is 1-0 for Vortex. GG, well played. And now, my friends, I am going to go grab some water after we take a look at the score. You can see the score here. A very, very solid lead. I mean, Mista did have a tech advantage, probably. You had some blacksmith upgrades. But overall, the Mongol army was just so much bigger. And the economy for the Mongols is just very strong. You know, I used to think the Mongols were the most OP faction in the beta builds. But I don't know. I feel like the Mongols are overshadowing the French in this event. Like, I feel like the French are just getting canned and the Mongols are like a problem. Yeah, something to consider. All right, I'll be right back. Gonna refill my water and see you guys in just a second. It is I return from the shadows. Let us see if the players are ready for the next match. We will take a look here in just a moment. And it looks like they are in the lobby, so we will see what they pick next. Mongols been the best since release. Perhaps so. Perhaps so, my friends. Yeah, I mean, I don't think they've dropped a single game in the whole event. Like in any series, I think Mongols have a 100% win rate in this tournament. Pretty crazy. I wonder if Mista will play Mongols. I think Mista is also a very good English player. I feel like England has some pretty good tools against Mongols. Like English longbow plus spear pushes against Mongols seems pretty strong. Like Mongols can't really trade super effectively with their archers against English longbowmen. That might actually be something maybe we see tried today. Yeah, we're getting water. Yeah, I'm back. Don't worry, guys. I haven't abandoned you. Lots of rush yesterday. Seeing different starts today. Yeah, definitely a couple eco starts today. We've seen yesterday was mostly rushes. Today we've seen a lot of double TC. Like double TC timing pushes after that. So you go double TC, solidify your eco, and then push out at like Castle Age with like spring alds and artillery. We've seen that a lot today. Yeah. Chat getting separation anxiety. Yeah. We're back. Don't worry. I haven't left yet. His kill villagers and kite back. Yeah. He was so behind too. Like the Abbasid build, like pretty much all of his resources went into that artillery and he just kept getting them torched. There wasn't much he could do. I mean, the Mongolians had Lancers out already, and also they had the villagers like swarming up and torching them, which actually was really helpful. Very, very strong for sure. Maybe mixing in a couple spears for Mista would have been good. Like he could have protected his artillery against the heavy cavalry, but overall, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if there was much he could have done. How strong were the Mongols in Age of Empires 2, by the way? I heard some of you guys in chat talking about that, but were they like just the Terminators or were they overpowered? Yeah, like who? And also my second follow-up question is, oh yeah, look at this. Guys, Delhi Sultanate versus the Mongols. So Mista going to be taking the Mongols. And I'm really curious to see what Vortex is going to do with Delhi Sultanate against Mongols. This should be very interesting here. Hey, AB, welcome, man. I'm new here. Well, I'm happy to have you here. It's going to be fun, man. Got a lot of cool stuff coming. Eventually I'll get my stupid echoing audio fixed, but you know, perhaps in another life. Could Turtle install till late? I don't know. We have the Delhi Sultanate coming up in a couple minutes. I'm really hyped for this. Curious about the map too. The map is a big deciding factor for Delhi. Like defensive maps are quite nice, and maps where like sacred sites are very accessible, that's also very nice. Yeah, still not a single HRE pick, not a single Chinese pick in the entire event. Well, hopefully Relic is watching. And they're taking some notes on the civs that are being neglected. Yeah. In AoE 2, Mongols were very bad. Okay, fair play. Yeah. Mongols in AoE 2 were strong, but not as not so much on closed maps. Copy that. Copy that. The Delhi game is here. The Delhi shop. Honestly, I feel like Delhi is like kind of a hidden powerhouse, like against a lot of these civs. Like the early sacred sites and like the free tech, like they can, and the scholars like massively producing military is pretty scary too. Like I think Delhi is very hard to play, but I think once players like on this skill level are able to master them, it's going to be very, very frightening. Yeah. That one map with the deer in the middle was just the Mongol jam. Yeah. HRE is Hope Horizons. I don't know. I wouldn't say they're A or S tier. Unfortunately, I'm an HRE main as well, and yeah. I mean, look, I think like if they were A or S tier, I think these top level players would be using them. These guys are just like so good at this game, and if they were that good, they would be getting used. I don't think that the pro players are, you know, blind to the nature of HRE. Yeah, like Holy Roman Empire has some gimmicks for sure, and they're one of my favorite civs to play, if not my favorite. But like it's very tough to compete with like some of these other civilizations for sure. Very, very tough for sure. Oh man, the 6 a.m. morning start. How long we've been streaming? God damn, the stream is already 3 hours long. Jeez, man. These games, it's just like a blur. It just goes by so fast. Mongols did need houses in Age of Empires 2. Okay, it was the Huns that didn't. Understood. Yeah, I didn't really get into Age of Empires 2 ever. I played as a kiddo when I was like a teenager, or like, I'm not even a teenager, but like, you know, 10, 11 years old. I used to just like build maps, custom maps in Age of Empires 2 and make these like epic Helm's Deeps and things like that. I remember going to like watch Lord of the Rings and like remaking the battle in Age of Empires 2 map builder. Yeah, that was fun. Yeah. Delhi does seem pretty good. Yeah, I think Delhi is going to make an emergence as like an actual tournament pick. Not like a first pick or an auto pick, but like for sure. And if you specialize in them and like learn their mechanics, they can be very, very strong, man. Yeah. Yeah, Landsnecks aren't that good in this game. I'm a little bit bummed out because they're so squishy. They have like 80 HP and like no armor. And you spend like what, like something like a couple hundred gold on them? It's like absurd, yeah. Like 100 gold and like a fair amount of food as well. Landsnecht are like overpriced and a little bit too squishy. They need to get some buffs for sure. Like the HRE prelates are really good. Obviously, they bring a ton of utility to the civilization, but the Landsnecht just don't seem very strong, honestly. Like, why would you? I don't know. They're just too squishy. Like, good players just snipe them out. All right, here we are, spawning on the south side of the map here on Dry Arabia. It is going to be our Delhi champion, Vortex. Up on the north side of the map, we have the Mongolian player looking to get vengeance for last game. A very, very nice spot for this TC. That is a beauty right there. Whenever you're playing Mongols, you load into a map and you can see just a juicy gold vein right next to a forest. You could just set up your TC there, and then you don't have to build a supply drop-off point. You could basically just kind of forsake the Ger and do your thing. So looks like Mongols going to be going for early harass. They have the OVO, and they also have 5 workers on Old Lumber here, which usually means that there's going to be some sort of a Dark Ages stable coming out. So maybe some horsemen or scouts being produced to try and go pressure the Delhi faction. Now for Delhi, we have the Sanctity being researched first, allow scholars to capture sacred sites early. We also have the mill as well as the lumber camp being set up. This is very standard because by getting the lumber camp as well as the mill, you basically just rapid fire into these upgrades. Like you can start on them right away, which is very important because initially Delhi does have very slow upgrades. So getting them going initially is quite good. Yeah, Landsnecht are very expensive. Yeah, they were good in the other Age of Empires games. I hope they get changed. I hope they get buffed a little bit. Yeah. Nonetheless, if you guys haven't seen the Delhi Sultanate, let me go ahead and break it down for you. If you're new to the game, new to the channel, they are a civ that get a lot of fun stuff. Firstly, their berry bushes, just like the Abbasid dynasty, come with 500 food instead of 250, allowing them to be slightly more defensive. The next thing is their research system or their scholar system. So basically, they can build their religious buildings in the Dark Ages, the mosque. And you can see there's a multitude of upgrades here, all of which are accrued for free. So the Delhi Sultanate gets all of their upgrades for free across the entire civilization. However, they take quite some time, which can be a little bit of a problem. Now, to remedy this, you basically put scholars inside of mosques. The more scholars that you have inside of your mosques, the faster your free research goes. So let's say you have 2 mosques filled up with 6 scholars in total. Your research is going to be much, much faster than it is right now. And that's how Delhi gets really strong. So once they get like their mosque system set up, they start rolling, they can do all sorts of neat stuff. Those are kind of the basics. Obviously, there's a ton of unique, technologies they can research here. They can capture sacred sites before the Castle Age. So they could even theoretically capture sacred sites in the Dark Ages. And on top of that, they have efficient production, which is very good. So you can garrison your scholars in military buildings to boost their production by 100%, which is crazy good. Really, really fun civilization. Now up here in the north, Mongols going for early raiding, going to be producing scouts. This is kind of a build that I've been seeing float around in tournaments and high-level ladder. Basically, you build these scouts and you just go and try and like torch the gold early. So he'll bring the scouts. Obviously, this gold camp is a little bit far away from the mining camp here, so he's going to be able to potentially torch that with his scouts here and prevent the Delhi Sultanate from going to the next age, which is very, very, very much a reality here. I would imagine Delhi will probably get a barracks first and just try and get like some spearmen out. Yeah, so the barracks is coming out, which is also good for sacred site play. It allows you to get the control of the sacred sites and also fend off the early Mongol harass. What the Mongols want to be doing is they want to go in and just go after this mining camp and light it on fire. Because 50 gold and 50 food at this point in the game is actually quite substantial. It's me, Aldo. Since I saw your Notre Dame defense game, I decided to get a copy myself. I have been so addicted, it's still learning and getting ready for PvP. Hell yeah, man. Come join the party. Looking forward to seeing you on ladder, my friend. And thank you for the donation. Greatly appreciated it. That was a fun game. That game was played like right in the beginning of the beta. I was pretty newbie back then. That's for sure. So the first Delhi Spearman is coming out. This absolute alpha of a man just charges out, and he's able to force back 4 mounted warriors. He just stands there with his big old spear looking like an absolute G. I would imagine another spearman will be coming out. A slight supply block, not really a big deal. We almost have the wheelbarrow. It's about halfway done, and forestry is about to finish. So Delhi can get a little bit of an economic lead on people as well with their free tech upgrades. So as they scale into later ages, they're basically getting every single upgrade, right? Like the mining upgrade here, you can get these specialized picks. You're going to be getting the double broadaxe, and they're just going to be just pumping it out, man. It is really, really cool for sure. Yes, the Rus are the civilization, to answer your question, that have horse archers. And Mr. Pig, this is a best of 5. The grand finals, which we'll be doing after this series, are a best of 7. So now, oh, hell yeah. This is my favorite part of Delhi games. So the Scholar has jumped out, which is going to slow down research a little bit, but basically he's going to be taking Spearmen and grabbing Sacred Sites. So Sacred Sites grant you 100 gold per minute, but if you have the Sanctity upgrade with the Delhi Sultanate, they grant you 200 gold a minute, which is so damn strong. And I will be so happy. I will be so goddamn happy if Vortex builds a wall around this. It is my favorite thing ever when Delhi players get their Spearmen, which have the ability to build walls, and they build walls around Sacred Sites to take them. It is so freaking funny. Because the other faction is like trying to get it back, and they can't. They're like rattling at the wooden gates. And I feel like it's worth it. Like, I don't know. Am I just like a noob for thinking it's worth walling in? Anyways, Dome of Faith is coming up. This is the go-to landmark. It basically produces scholars at 50% of the cost. And for the Mista, is he already in the second age? No, he's building the Deer Stones right now, so both players are progressing at a reasonable pace. So a couple Spearmen being left here. Like, the thing is, if you don't wall it, what happens is the enemy just comes and takes it back with like a single scout. And then like you just don't get your value. But like investing like 75 wood like allows you to get this constant flow of gold. Yeah. What is my favorite civilization? Competitive wise, I play Rus. In terms of flavor, HRE and probably Delhi are the ones that I've been enjoying the most right now. Yeah. So like he's leaving the sacred site now, but the problem is like his opponent's just going to send a scout and get that back. A couple of the Mongolian scouts are harassing, but now Delhi is going to get a pretty big rise in income here. Vortex is going to be getting at least probably 200 gold from this before his opponent takes it back. And it looks like the Scholar, I'm not sure where he's going. I don't think he knows where the sacred site is. Let's look at his vision. Yeah, he doesn't know. He's looking for it right now. You can see his crew is kind of fanning out. And if he just goes a little bit further east, man, he's just barely missing it. Oh my God. And he finds it. Oh man, I would have been so sad for him if he didn't find that sacred site. So the boys are coming over here. They're going to be jumping on that. And now like the sacred site's being taken. So he probably got his 200 gold from it, but that's about it. Whereas had he walled it, you know, the sacred site would be probably generating about 800 gold for him before the scouts could break through the walls. So, although the spearmen are moving over, might be able to force these scouts off. We will see. Other sacred site is being taken on the far side. And the Delhi Sultanate going to be getting a ton of early gold here, as now the Khan is moving in himself. Khan will be quite annoying against these poor spearmen here, as he does have a pretty good range and does do 4 damage. So spearmen holding on the sacred site. Over here, the other sacred site is being taken. You're going to be seeing the gold spike for Vortex super hard, allowing him to pump out scholars from his Dome of Faith for 50% the cost, jumping on top of the mosque here. Now, up here for the Mongols, we still only have the stables being built at the Ovo. We do also have outposts. Interesting. So outpost usage being placed down here. And the deer stones are up, so all these workers are going to be moving 15% faster. It will help in a little bit in terms of their resource drop-off. But we will see. Sacred site is secured here. This sacred site being taken by the Khan. It looks like these spearmen are going to be moving up and trying to push him off, but it looks like he might be able to get this. I don't know. The Delhi spearmen, yeah, I think they're just barely going to get there to get him off. Yep. So the Delhi spearmen get on top of the sacred site, and now the Khan has run. And honestly, he is getting a ton of gold from this. Vortex is getting 200 gold a minute from this one and 200 gold a minute from this. So 400 gold a minute is being accrued. And Vortex doesn't even really need to mine gold. Like, he's got 2 on gold right now, and now he's getting the double blacksmith. So Delhi goes double blacksmith because the upgrades take 5 minutes, right? However, if you're just pumping out free upgrades from double blacksmiths, you're going to be getting a massive spike in power. And once the mosque gets filled up, those upgrades will take place at a much, much faster rate. So far, man, Delhi is in a super comfortable position. 800 gold a minute at the 8-minute mark is very, very strong, especially considering you're not really going through your gold node in your main base. And, you know, you're going to be able to potentially, get that later if you're being pressured. So here we have the Khan trying to push a couple spearmen off. Spearmen are just being left to defend. We have a nice batch of spearmen here. I would imagine Mongols are going to go archery ranges. No, actually barracks. Interesting. I thought we would see archery ranges to counter those spearmen, but no, he's going to be getting spearmen of his own. Okay. Mista is actually just going for Castle Age. He's banking, and he's going to be trying to surpass the tech of the Delhi Sultanate and just basically punish them with more elite units. So probably getting a barrack set up just to pump out men-at-arms and going for the upgraded siege engineering. I think that really is going to be the plan. Oh man, a really nice play here by the Mongols as well. So the Mista is going to be grabbing all these deer around, so he is going to be doing grand theft of venison. The Delhi Sultanate will be denied a little bit of food on the map. However, they do have their berry bushes going. But honestly, guys, like the Delhi Sultanate teching super fast too. House of Learning is coming up, so this is a unique landmark, of course, for the Delhi Sultanate, which has 4 upgrades that are unique. Otherwise, you can't get them if you don't get this building. One of them basically makes your knights and men-at-arms better, and that's really the main reason why most people do that. So then you get Delhi Sultanate men-at-arms backed up by like crossbows, and you can really, really do some nasty work in these fights. Sacred Site being taken. Sacred Site taken here. I mean, he is just banking the gold right now. His income per minute is still, of course, very, very high, saying at about 400, which is, you know, makes sense considering the 76 is coming from these 2 workers here, and the 400 is coming from the 2 sacred sites. I wonder if we're going to see Dumbo. Are we going to see the dreaded Tower War Elephant? Could actually be pretty good, especially against men-at-arms. I mean, they hit pretty hard, so they can punch through the armor quite well. We have a couple Delhi archers being brought out. We are not seeing the Delhi walls yet, and here on the flank, we do have a couple scouts moving in. And oh, look at this! Grand Theft Venison! The Mista coming in and jacking all the deer from the Delhi Sultanate. Oh no, not like this. So the entire Delhi crew, yeah, they're going to be denied. That is a lot of food taken from the mouths of the people. And will Delhi have to switch into a farm economy early? Probably just going to go for the berry bushes here, but that is some solid Grand Theft Venison. Yes, yes, indeed. So House of Learning is coming up. I'll show you guys the upgrades in just a minute. Delhi's still just banking the gold here on those landmarks. The step readout is being built for the Mongols. Looks like both players hit the Castle Age at about the same time. Vortex is ahead on score though. And it looks like the step readout here is going to be dropping off 50% additional gold for Mongols. You need to make sure to move these workers over to the north side of this node, or else they're going to drop off at the town center, which I believe will not give them that 50%. So at the House of Learning, we have the Honed Blades, which increases their damage by 3. Reinforced foundations, houses and town centers actually give you extra population, so it gives you an immediate boost to your TCs or to your population, which is nice. Tranquil venue, mosques actually heal nearby units. You can set up like a mosque aggressively and use them to heal your units. And lookout towers. This is probably the least useful, but it does increase the range of your outpost, which, you know, isn't bad. Over here, Mongols sending in some scouts, maybe going to be trying to shut down that sacred site. I do not think he's going to be able to defend that. Now, we have 2 scholars in the mosque here. It looks like a second one's being set up. The Dome of Faith constantly producing and just pumping into those. But check this out. So 2 scholars have been put here. This is a very common Delhi build where you put the double scholar into your your barracks here, and now he's producing men-at-arms at 8 seconds, if I'm not mistaken. Let me go and double check here. It says 11 seconds. Let me see. So 11 seconds for you, and for the men-at-arms here for the Mongols, it's going to be 22 seconds. Yeah. So that's really, really fast. Pretty much, you know, double the speed, right? So the scouts able to shut down that sacred site. Looks like a couple archers moving over there to try and stop them. The Delhi Sultanate probably going to have to start farming some gold here if they lose the sacred sites. They won't be able to kind of get away with what they've been doing here. Scouts still trundling about. Another cool thing about Delhi is the forced march upgrade. I don't think we've seen that yet, but forced march, have we seen that upgraded? Maybe we have. Yeah, it looks like it has been finished, and the upgrades are still just kicking in. Yeah, although this blacksmith isn't upgrading right now, so a little bit of a misplay here by Vortex, but not that big of a one. He should catch this later, but yeah, Delhi, you pretty much want to have all the upgrades going. So you have the lumber upgrade popping in, you probably have the mining upgrades, you have the farming upgrades. It's all free. It's all free real estate. So you want to be doing that. So berry bushes being hammered pretty hard by Delhi. In terms of income per minute, it looks like they are quite ahead on food, wood, and the gold is now being taken over by the Mista. And that is because of the step readout. So men-at-arms and springalds are being made. Obviously, the old Mongols can get the upgraded siege engineering from their OVO, and they can produce springalds with their infantry, which is really, really nice. Sacred site being captured. Looks like there is a Mongolian lancer battling this mighty spearman, but the spearman probably going to be falling here to the lancer, and down he goes. And so too will this scholar. Going to be taken out, and yeah, he's going to be going calmly into the night. So right now, I do not know if the upgrades are done for the Delhi, but I honestly think the Mongols will probably win this fight considering they have 4 springalds, but we will see how well the Delhi men-at-arms can do. It looks like they're running through with their torches. Going to be going, but obviously springalds can kite pretty effectively. But yeah, this fight looks to be going a lot better for the Mista as he's picking off a lot of these reserve units while the old springalds are hunted down by a bunch of these Delhi infantry. They got their torches out, so I can't see their correct damage profile. I wanted to kind of take a look at that. More harass going as the scholar does move to the sacred site, but the scouts are all over that. And again, I think like investing a couple hundred wooden walls would guarantee Delhi is just getting a ton of money from these sacred sites. Look at this, man, the dreaded springald kite. Now this is why springalds are so annoying. Look how fast they are, 1.15 tiles, and the infantry are like 1.12. So the springalds are actually faster than the men-at-arms because of the YAM network. So that's why Mongol springalds are more annoying than other civs, because they can just move so goddamn fast. Much faster than they should. And honestly, Delhi loses a ton of stuff there, and that fight went pretty disastrously for them, as the Mista claims a little bit of a lead here. Now Delhi's going to be on the back foot, where, you know, Delhi was ahead by, what, 300-400 points before that fight, and now they just take a really bad fight here, and the Mista's going to be punishing. Yeah, the Mongols moving in. Sacred site being captured once again. So we got another sacred site here. We have a scholar going for this. And what I really do like about Vortex's play is the constant sacred pressure. Like, he's just all over those sacred sites. And now he's going to have to rally another army here to try and defend the Mongol counter push. They're going to be coming in with their springalds. I feel like springalds should have, like, a nerf to their speed. They should be, like, as fast as the mangonels. Because, like, a lot of high-level ladder games, in my experience, just evolve into, like, annoying springald micro and, like, just abusing, like, them in mass numbers. So I would like to see them maybe get a little bit of an adjustment. I think their damage is fine, just like adjust their speed so they can't run away quite as well. So, mangonel being built. Looks like the Mongols are going to be going for the throat. The Delhi Sultanate is a little bit behind, but they do get a sacred site here. Looks like there's a Khan coming to shut that down. And we do get another sacred site here. So the Lancer's like, haven't I taught you guys enough? He comes back and he will be slaying that scholar once again. So again, no wooden gates around, and the Mongols are coming for blood. Will the Delhi Sultanate be able to muster an army in time? Where is their army, as a matter of fact? Looks like it was in the back of the base a little bit, but their men-at-arms do quite a bit of damage. So Delhi men-at-arms hit for 17 damage, whereas the Mongol men-at-arms will only hit for 13. So the Delhi have upgrade advantage, and they also have the sword advantage. However, the Mongols have a pretty massive advantage as it pertains to artillery. That is a thick, thick force right there. And here comes the Lancers to shut down the sacred sites. Still generating some decent gold, but overall, the Mongols seem to be in a very commanding position. With this artillery lead, I think Mista really is going to be pushing the tempo in here and getting it going. YAM-powered siege engine, yeah, it's pretty crazy. They're very, very fast. We're not seeing aggressive Mongol outposts here. I wouldn't be surprised to see that. The YAM network, of course, kicking the jams, but of course they do not have the speed buff anymore. So fighting in enemy lands, they won't have it unless the Mongols decide to pull a couple workers and build outposts across the map, which I think is a brilliant idea. That 15% speed buff was the difference between him losing like all of the springalds there and them getting away, right? So you can see how that can be a deciding factor in battle. Elephants probably wouldn't be good here. The prevalence of the mass springalds would be very, very strong. And you can see the not the Rus, but the Mongols here do lose a scout and they get pushed back a little bit. But a very scary push coming in here. Let's see if he's aware of this. I don't think he is. I think the Delhi Sultanate is very, very unaware that there's going to be a dread push coming here. So we'll find out. In the back, we got a couple workers being taken down. Really good flank harass by the Mista, making sure to try and shut down resources wherever he can. And looking at the map overall, we now have the Battle of Battles. So the Delhi Sultanate probably going to want to spread out. If they get mango shotted, like in their men-at-arms here, it's going to be... Oh, the Forced March is active! Look how quick they are! So they actually get the Forced March, which makes them into track stars. Delhi infantry are super quick when they pop that, but they can't attack while it's active. So he's basically splitting workers onto all these different artillery pieces. And now the Delhi is going to be torching quite a bit of this artillery. I mean, they'll take casualties, but they can probably rebuild their force. And killing all this artillery here is really big. It's actually helping to equalize the score quite a bit. And look at the Delhi Force March. This is what I'm talking about. There's no YAM network. So all of these artillery pieces are normal speed, just like other civilizations now. And they're being hunted down. Yeah, there's one Springald left. Looks like a second one's being built. That was a very cost-effective trade for the Delhi, I would say. However, now they have to deal with the returning wrath of the Mongols, who are going to be pushing in with the army, who of course didn't take much damage here. These men-at-arms running for the hills, you know what might not be a bad idea? It would be to pop the Forced March and run like due north and just like go harass here. I love that Forced March ability. It's so goddamn cool. But more and more Springalds are being made. Even though he lost like 4 or 5 there, he can remake them pretty quickly. Are we going to be getting a Dumbo? It does not look like it. I think it's mostly just spears and men-at-arms being pumped out here, and I think there's going to be another Royal Rumble as he tries to get in on the Springalds and do some Mortal Kombat. So these ones come around from the flank, going to be getting in with their torches, maybe shutting down the Springalds and the Mangonels. We even have the Delhi Scholars out here dropping some heals, and the Delhi infantry are stronger than the Mongol ones, but it's just kind of a numbers game at this point, really. He's diving the artillery quite a bit, and the units that do dive the artillery, you know, tend to go down. So another Springald going down. Man, I mean, Mista is losing so much artillery here. But now the Mongols have jumped into the main base, and the Delhi are going to be forced to kind of pull back and try and defend this. They have a constant flow of men-at-arms coming out at a super fast pace, but I think food is starting to run a little bit low. Looking at the bank's food, he did just have to trade a bunch of gold for that. And now his farms are getting pressed as well, and it looks like the Mongols are going to claim victory. So that game was honestly very close. Up until that fight. Like, I think Delhi was even ahead at one point, but when they kind of attacked into the Mongol army and just like lost like 3/4 of their army, it was very tough to come back from that. Very tough. Yeah. The YAM network was not there. That is correct. So, taking a look at the score for the match, we do see, yeah, look at that. So Vortex was actually ahead, and then he took that really bad fight in the Castle Age, and pretty much that was a bit of a throw from there. But I mean, understandably, he wanted to take advantage of his upgraded men-at-arms, but Mista had all those artillery pieces ready, which if he had just waited, built up a critical mass force, and used Force March, I think that Vortex would have probably had a chance of winning that game. So GG, that's going to be 1-1. Here we go. The relics wouldn't have been very good for conversion purposes because the Springalds would have just sniped them. Yeah, they would have just sniped them if he was paying attention. Elephants would not have been great either against that mass artillery. Maybe like one Tower War Elephant, like being healed by like 2 or 3 Scholars could have been nice, just to like throw in the mix. Yeah. That was a close game. GG, well played. So now we prepare for the next Duel of Fates as the players load in. I believe there's going to be a little bit of a break after this, but we will see. Yeah, the Mongols, Mangonels, yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, the players are good no matter what civ they use. They should force the players to play the rubber matches on HRE in China. Like, it should be like required that that's the matchup, just to entertain us. Yeah. I feel like the Landsknecht might, for the Holy Roman Empire, might actually be a counter to the Abbasid Mongol siege building in the front. Not really. I mean, because the problem is like a couple basic Abbasid or Mongol archers will annihilate Landsknecht. Like, they just get absolutely trash canned. Yeah, with a good micro. Like lower level players who don't notice Landsknecht, they can like really win a battle for you. But if I like mixing in a couple just in case they don't notice them. But overall, if they're noticed, they just get like popped in the face. Yeah, they're expensive. Yeah, fun game so far. Wonder what we're going to be seeing. That's a quick example of where Mista's win rate comes from. Absolutely. Absolutely, my friends. So, are they in game already? Wow, they loaded into that next match super quick. All right, game 3. Let's see what they're playing. Oh, it was so good and now it's so bad. It's a French mirror match. Oh, why? Not like this. HRE versus China is actually a really fun matchup. Yeah, it's really fun. What is the meta / best empire? French is considered to be the strongest by most people. Probably Mongols and French, yeah. I'm honestly starting to think Mongols are just as good as French. Like, I really am. They're pretty freaking strong, man. I know there's a patch coming on Monday. Yeah, I think there's a patch tomorrow which is fixing a couple bugs, but I don't know if it's going to do anything pertaining to balance. But I think after Relic sees this event and sees how dominant the Mongols were in like almost every game, like maybe there might be some adjustments. Who knows? Who knows? But again, people maybe haven't figured out how to deal with them. We'll see. Are the patch notes available for tomorrow? I will be going over them. So when the patch notes are public tomorrow, I'm going to have a stream and where I play quick battles, and I'll also take a look at the patch notes. So we'll do all that. The French mirror standard, I know. It's so awful, man. It's so awful. God, I hate it. I hate it so much. You guys want to see the bracket? All right, let me pull it up for you. So, switching on over to the bracket, let me show you ye old bracket. So here it is. You can see the Viper versus Recon has finished. The Viper won 3-1 and is in the grand finals awaiting his opponent. And the Mista is currently playing versus Vortex. It is a 1-1 series. They have not updated the scorecards yet, but I'm sure they will in due time. And we are just kind of hanging out right now, playing this series and enjoying each other's company. 2 minutes and 52 seconds until we get to see a glorious French mirror match. Everyone's favorite thing. It's a good time to take a nap. It can be interesting. It can be. It's like watching like a Turin mirror match, sort of, you know? Yeah. Or any mirror match in an RTS game, really. Yeah, I don't think we'll see a balance patch tomorrow. I don't think so. I think there'll probably be like a big one within like a month or something that addresses a lot of the issues. Yeah. Out of curiosity, what has been that? Well, I guess the previous Age of Empires titles were probably different developers. I'm curious how often Relic is going to be doing balance stuff for their game. I would definitely think at first like doing it quickly is going to be good, because I come from the Total War community where like you'll get a patch that'll like release like absurdly overpowered shit or like broken mechanics into the game, or like buggy mechanics, and it doesn't get fixed for like 6 months. And I can't tell you how depressing that is to the community when you have to deal with that for so long, especially for multiplayer, because Total War is a campaign focused game with like an amazing multiplayer community, but I think the focus the developers have is more on campaign. But I just hope it doesn't like get like that where there's going to be like just stuff that's like abused for like 6 months straight. Yeah. Give us a classic dwarf mirror. Would I rather watch a dwarf mirror match in Total War or a French mirror match here? Oh, I might actually even go for the French mirror match. Although, I don't know, dwarf mirror matches are kind of interesting in Total War Warhammer. Yeah, mirrors in StarCraft aren't as bad because there's only three races you can choose from in that game, so it's going to be much more common. Time to watch who spams up more Royal Knights. Yeah, certainly the case. Certainly the case, my friend. Yeah. So whoever wins with the French here, for example, is not going to be allowed to replay them in the next game. You cannot replay in this tournament. You can't replay civilizations that you played already. Back when I played competitive Rome, Total War was closer to a year to fix problems. Yeah, see, I mean, because Total War is a campaign-focused game in terms of the developers. Like, obviously, this game has more of a multiplayer focus. Like, I feel like the campaign is like secondary to the multiplayer here in Age of Empires, which